Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Nothing new under the sun. I have got Brandon Joe Williams with us today, and we are going to be discussing debt slavery and financial freedom, and the difference between understanding and overstanding, and how you carry yourself with this knowledge. Now, we're going to jump right into the thick of it with this podcast. So, I am going to be putting out my own personal explanation of the first part of this in a little bit more drawn out way, and it's going to be called Citizenship, Naturalization, and Expatriating. And I highly recommend just going to Brandon's webpage and onestupidfuck.com, signing up for his free class, and watching all 39 of the videos. I'm actually only on video number 33. And so I got him to come on my podcast, and then we just jumped right into the thick of this, which is the financial side of things a little bit more. And like I said, there's a lot to understand and a lot to overstand in all of this. So without further ado, Brandon Joe Williams.
I had to, my course is basically an attempt, I think a pretty successful attempt, to try to take and go and learn all this information from all these different places that I learned for about 6 months, nonstop, all day, total obsession all day, every day for about 6 full months, every minute. If I was on the toilet, I was reading something. No joke, right?
Yep.
Things have cooled down now because I just, after about a year of that kind of intensity, I had to start to take some breaks and stuff. But the first 6 months, it was just all day, all night, losing sleep, all the time, carrying books physically on me because sometimes you can't find ebook versions of some of the stuff.
Right.
Carrying around, I'm used to carrying around physical books. I've been doing it since I was like 25. So for me, I have this little briefcase and I carry the books around with me everywhere. And if I'm waiting in a waiting room, if I'm waiting for somebody, friend, if a friend has to go and take a phone call, I mean, I go to my briefcase, open it up, pull out the book, a page, 2 pages, 3 pages. That shit adds up. Over the course of a month, that shit adds the fuck up big time. So what I did was, that's what I did. And then by about the 6-month mark, I was like, all right, I think people really deserve to know the basic version, the entry level version of all of this, the pilot light version of all of this, sort of like a plane or a bird flying off the nest for the first time. Like, how can I get people to get up, jump off, take flight, realize that they can fly, and then now they can do their own thing, and we can create a quote army of people that are flying on their own, that are teaching others, that are self-sufficient. How can I take all this information that I had to go and search like Indiana fucking Jones to go and find, bring it all together, make it cohesive and linear, and then simplify the living fuck out of it, and then add a lot of humor and spice and give it away for free.
And that's so beautiful, dude. Giving it away for free, man. That's just, and like I said, I was telling you just before we before I hit record, that I got sober, and like a big part of what they tell you, I went through the AA program. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily like in AA, but that is the program that I used to help me get over it. And one of the things they say is like, you now do shit for others. It's not like a hobby. It's not like, it's like just part of who you are now is doing stuff for other people. Like you need to figure that out on your own. But like, to me, it's just, it makes sense. So, I would ask you, well, why would you do that? Because to me, it makes sense why you would do it. And you've explained it in a lot of your videos, kind of why you do this for free. And I really, man, I dig your philosophy and I dig your angle, and I really like your teaching style. So I would just kind of like to say, I have a couple radio shows that I do on Revolution Radio, and I've been talking about this loosely for a few episodes. So maybe just give us your crash course, like we've maybe heard it once before, but still absolutely need to be taught it. And just kind of, I mean, I've seen you on a few podcasts just absolutely destroy it. So as far as time constraints, I have none. It's up to you how
Sure.
far.
Yeah.
Um,
The course was, well, first off, to answer your first question, the reason why I gave it away for free, I've spent about $110,000 on this project,
wow.
out of my own pocket. And the reason why I do it, and the reason why I give everything away for free, and the reason why the advanced course is free, and the reason why everything will continue to be free, is because we need speed. We need this to get shared fast. And there's a lot of people who are like, oh, people don't value things that are free and this and that. That's true, but it gets to, people don't value things that are free. It's a self-balancing karmatic universe. Okay. So people say they don't value things that are free. Yes, but the reason why I set all my shit up the way that I did is because it took a lot of work and effort for me to make that course.
Mm.
But once the course was completed, I don't have to do much of anything except pay for my Vimeo monthly subscription to keep that thing going, which is like $30 a month or $20 a month or whatever it is. So the way I look at it is, my personal time, there's a lot of guys that are doing this kind of work and they give away their personal time like it's fucking hotcakes to all these fucking people that are just I don't want to say something too horrible, but it would be in a very joking attitude, like go lay down on some train tracks or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Joking, obviously,
Hmm.
but it's one of those things where I have a one friend of mine who's much older, who I love very much, and his phone rings all day long, and he's on top of it, and he's very, very helpful, and I love this particular guy a lot because he's helped me so much. He'll probably listen to this episode, actually. uh and he just gets a lot of phone calls all the time, all the time, all the time from people, and he, I think he enjoys it. If it's self-fulfilling for you, fantastic, but the thing is that it's, for me, it was, I wanted to do the polar opposite. Dan S. Pena is someone who I love very much, the QLA, Quantum Leap Advantage guy, the guy who's always freaking out and screaming at people and shit. You when you actually listen to him more in depth, you realize that he actually cares and loves his people more than almost anybody else in the world. But it's very like daddy military energy. Um, and learning from him, his structure is everything's free, everything's free, everything's free, everything's free. I release shit for free, tons of videos for free. My whole book, audiobook version of me reading it is free, 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 free. If you want my personal time, you have to sell your fucking organs. Get to me. And I love that model. That model is just, it makes me want to cry. It's so beautiful. So that is the model I decided to take on, but I don't even really need clients right now. My main concern is I make money working, right? So I'm one of these rare individuals where I've already made a bunch of money and been very successful in the business world. So I'm not like some broke fuck trying to just go and figure out how to discharge debts, which is okay. It's okay to be like that, I guess.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, I feel like it's a balance. I feel like on this side of the equation, I'm delivering something of value into the universe.
Mm.
And then on the private side, I feel like I am worthy of, and I have enough self-appreciation and I have enough balance in the flows of the self-balancing universe to accept and take on the ability to discharge all debt and have essentially infinite money. It's a karmatic exchange. It's a karmatic exchange that I'm not doing this in order to get this. I'm doing this because it just needs to fucking happen. And I know naturally down the line, at some point in the future, I will receive this because of this.
Yep.
So, so
Yeah, I fully get that, dude. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, so it's one of those things where I'm going to have infinite money. I've already discharged $200,000 in debt. There's another 200,000 that they're not even calling me. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the way I have myself set up. It's so extreme the way I have myself set up that they just like look into me for 5 seconds and they go fucking write all this shit off. Don't even bother. I don't know what it is, but there's another 200 that I literally have never gotten a letter, have never gotten a phone call, like nothing. So call that one discharged. So I'm 400K up.
Wow.
And plus I don't pay any legally. I'm not a taxpayer legally as per the definition. I don't legally have a tax burden for federal income tax. I don't legally have a tax burden for state tax. I don't legally have a tax burden for sales tax. I don't legally have a tax burden for LA city tax. So
What about property tax?
well, if I owned property, then the answer would be no. But I don't own property, so I wouldn't pay taxes on that anyways.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, okay. But if
I can
you,
cover that. You can get out of paying property taxes. It's not that hard.
right, but even like in a house, if you, I guess my jump to question would be, can you get an allodial title for a house that's in a suburb?
Oh yeah, of course, easily.
Okay. 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 I
Maybe
just
not.
haven't
Maybe
gotten
not the
that
easiest thing
far
in the
into that
world, but
process yet. But you know,
yeah,
funny thing, I the first person I ever heard about in this whole thing was Ron Gibson.
Gibson. Yeah, that's
And
the guy to go to. He's the
yeah,
guy to go
and I
to.
heard about him through a homesteading group. You know what I mean? And he was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, if
he's
you're
the
gonna buy
guy.
land, yeah, yeah."
He's the
And
guy. I don't pretend to know a lot about things that I haven't personally done a lot of dealings with.
right,
And that's not an area that I've done much of anything with. I have a friend of mine named Sarah. She's involved in all that. I have this network that I've created, and I've certain people have jumped on certain pieces of information, such as discharging mortgages with a silver dollar, or doing an allodial title, or marriage license cancellation. I'm not married, never been married, never had to deal with that. People have asked me, I don't care.
right,
I'm trying to fucking crack infinite money. I don't care about your fucking marriage. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, but there are people who have um really focused in on some of these areas, and they've created some really cool things, and they've done some stuff, and then they feed me the information, and then I take that information and I feed it back into it's like an informational marketplace, where informational and documentational marketplace, right?
yeah,
And so through this sort of I help you, you help me, my mind is expanding and expanding and expanding, and I'm going to be opening up my own law firm very soon.
awesome,
Not that I need any clients, not that I need any money, because I'm probably not going to need money ever again here in the next like 6 months, or ever again until the whole system fucking explodes and collapse. Then we'll go back to gold, and then that's why I want to keep my businesses and my working, because if the promissory note system collapses, which it definitely will at some point,
hmm,
the working man is now going to be the ultra elite rich. Your working class people, your plumbers, your electricians, your business owners, your salespeople, the working class that's getting fucked right now. When everything falls apart, or everyone tears it apart, which is, I don't like things that make it seem like it's just this fucking magical thing. It's like,
right,
no, the
yeah,
society will decide when they want to tear this thing down. And when they do, it'll be go back to a simple gold backed system, gold backed currency system that's not based on promissory notes everywhere. And at that point, your typical working class person is going to have like 100 times the buying power they have now. 80 to 100 times. So imagine anyone listening to this that works a normal job, imagine making like 80 times as much money as you're making now.
yeah,
You're like, holy fuck, I'd be like filthy fucking rich. And it's like, well, yeah, of course, everyone would.
yeah.
Everyone would be filthy rich.
And that's
The
the
reason
point.
why
That's
people are
how it should be.
broke, yeah, the reason why this is such an abundant universe. The reason why it doesn't seem like it is because of the illusion that's created, where what they do is through inflation and through devaluation and through taxation and through all these crazy ass means, they take away 90% of the wealth and power of the financial system, and they make everyone destitute, begging for assistance and benefits. And those benefits and those assistances come with caveats. And that's how they control and move the entire civilization in the direction that they want to move it.
Yep.
It's got nothing to do with money. People think taxes have something to do with money. Has absolutely nothing to do with money. Because when you study money, you realize it's just promissory notes, and you can promise and create as much money and promissory notes as you want legally. I could go. I'm creating a $500 billion bond right now.
Wow.
And you can just write it up, draw it up, sign it, know the laws and know the things like what Mansa teaches. Send it in, and boom, you've just got yourself a $500 billion indemnity bond. So money is literally manufactured through the action of promissory notes. And when you learn that, which is what Mansa teaches, and I'm also very, very deep into it, but a lot of what I learned from what I even teach is from Mansa, right? And we just had our first successful monthly credit card discharge where the account stayed open. And that's what we're trying to do. That's the big thing right now. This is what all of our energy and focus is focused on: how to get revolving credit lines to self-discharge every single month. And then when that's completed, then we're going to move to phase 2, which is how do we bump up the monthly to as high as we can possibly get it.
Right.
Suing over and over and over and over if we have to get it up as high as we can possibly get it. Ideally, an unlimited MX Black card.
Yeah. Wow.
Where everyone can spend absolutely, you could go out and buy a fucking 3 jets and a mansion.
Yeah.
And just swipe your credit card. And then at the end of the month, it just poof, it disappears.
Yeah. Now, is that disappearing? That's still coming from your, that's still coming
No.
from your, that's not coming from the Sesta KV trust.
No, it's got nothing to do with that. It has to do with, I can show you, it's a little more advanced. Usually I start at the ground level.
Yeah, however you feel, man, it's all good. I
Well,
would like to cover some ground level shit, but we don't have to do it in order by any means. Like I said, a lot of the people that are going to hear this have already heard some of the ground level stuff, and they've heard me ranting. But
okay,
not
good.
not in any kind of mad detail. But we can do this, and this will be fine.
So nobody knows how this works. Okay, so first and foremost, just like Mansa, I teach it just like Mansa does. Very little difference, honestly, at this point in time. The only difference is maybe a few of the words. I use different definitions that I found. But if you go to the Jesus, what's it called? Negotiable Instruments Act. Oh no, Bill Exchange Act. And this is what you're going to learn. You said you bought the course from Mansa?
Yeah, August 19th.
Is it in person?
It's a internet deal. His next
But
in-person one
live.
is in Chicago. It's live, yeah. It'll be live, but
Okay.
it's not in person. The in-person is in Chicago.
So this presentation is going to be a lot similar to his because I basically, he's the man.
Yeah, right. Well, that's how I found him. I saw you standing next to him in your Instagram picture, and you're like, "I just met the man," and I'm like, "Well, I need to know who that is." Then.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't mind that I kind of do the same presentation that he does. That's why I drop his name a lot, because I want to give this information so badly. It's like a burning in my fucking loins, but at the same time, I don't want to step on any toes. So, go follow Mansa. He's great, amazing guy. And if you want to learn more about this, he's the best. So
yeah, all this stuff's going to be in the notes after the fact. So links to you, links to your presentation or your class rather, and then Mansa, all that stuff. So yeah.
My way of going about this is a little different. It's kind of moving in a little bit of a different direction, but I wouldn't doubt at some point in time, me and Mansa actually get together and do some collaborative type work together at some point, because I think of all the people that are out there, we have very, very similar teaching styles. And he's sort of like, it's hilarious to me. Like in my head, he's like the black version of me, and I'm like the white version of him. Because when I went to his in-person event, it was like I was one of the only white guys there. Right. So it was just kind of, but a lot of people knew who I was. Like half-ish, quarter of the people who were there knew who I was. So it was just kind of funny. It's just kind of funny to me. So, but anyways, so when you get a bill, I have a bill right here. When you get a bill, and you look on your bill, you'll see that the balance on the bill is a positive number, new balance, right? It's not a negative number, it's a positive number. And no one's ever stopped to think the fact that a positive number, okay, that's the same as my bank account. Okay. So you're so what happens is basically the one area that I teach it quite a bit differently than Mansa is basically the way I think of it is so what is the definition of a promissory note, right? What is the definition of a promissory note from the UCC Article 3, which is all about negotiable instruments and promissory notes? Okay. So let's see what comes up here. Instrument. Okay. So an instrument is a note if it is a promise, and it is a draft if it is an order.
Okay.
So we're going to get into this a little bit. I'm going to try not to go too crazy. Here we go. Promise means a written undertaking to pay money signed by the person undertaking to pay. An acknowledgement of an obligation by the obligor is not a promise unless the obligor also undertakes to pay the obligation. It's a lot of words. They always do this. They're like, how can we explain the simplest fucking concept in the world by adding in 17 brand new words that no one's ever seen before, and then giving really, really complicated definitions to all of these 17 words we've just manufactured? The reason why they do that is because that way, only the people who actually know the words, it's sort of like a secret key. The people who know the words can operate within the realm of banking, and the people who don't operate the words are confused and thus controlled by the people who do know the words. It's incantations. That's why you see a lot of guys talking about spelling, the word spelling, and it means casting spells. And this is why. This is why. Okay. So a lot of people are so funny to me because they go, oh, this is, I could never learn this. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a banker. Right. Bro, these people are fucking. I try to stay at peace because there's a particular thing, but like this is the manufacturing of complexity, unnecessary complexity, in an effort to try to confuse you. You don't need to be, this isn't about intelligence. This isn't about capacity. This is about the fact that someone is trying to hoodwink the absolute living shit out of you, and you should not allow that to fucking happen. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's not about intelligence. Intelligence is someone who designs a fucking car that operates on water. That is fucking intelligence. Okay. What we're talking about here and what we're doing here has nothing to do with intelligence, smarts. You got to think. The definition of IQ, intelligence quotient, is the ability for a person to naturally solve problems. Okay. So walking into a business, okay, and the business is all fucked up and it's got all these issues, that's where IQ comes into place. You're going to need a high IQ or a lot of drive to handle a situation like that. This is not like that. This is just a bunch of fucking bullshit. And all you have to do is just sift through the bullshit. It's like going to the landfill and digging around looking for cool things that you can sell. That's it. Yeah. That's all it is. And you should be driven to look at this shit by a very slight irritation. You should stay at peace, and you should be at peace, and you should be, a diplomat in your own area, which we can get into if we have enough time. But there should be a certain, not vengeance, but there should be a certain like no one is gonna fucking trick me kind of attitude. These people are not going to hoodwink me any longer, and I will search and I will dig slowly or quickly through all of this fucking rotting sewage in order to figure this out. Because when I do, I'm a free man and no one can touch me. Okay. So you don't need to be a lawyer. In fact, it's even harder for lawyers. Okay. You don't need to have an IQ of something like Mensa level. Absolutely unnecessary. Will help you, sure. Unnecessary. All you need is a little bit of drive and a lot of curiosity. That's it. Yep. And the ability to read words and look up definitions in dictionaries.
And take some notes. Yeah, that's what I was going to
And
say.
take some notes.
I've taken good notes, and I've just absorbed. It was one of those things where it's kind of like you talk about in your videos, man. When I started hearing this, I don't know what it was. It was the right time in my life or whatever. But I was a sponge. I couldn't have it told to me enough. I was like, man, this is just crazy. And luckily I had just saved up some of your videos. I was just downloading them and saving them to find the right time. And so once I did hit it, I had like 9 of them saved up, and I went through like the first 10 videos in 2 days, dude. I just was like,
wow,
boom, 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 boom. Like, wow, I can't get this stuff fast enough. And then I was like, okay, cool. Cause that was you going over all the forms. So I was like, awesome. I know I'm going to have to watch that stuff again. And I do actually have a couple questions on my forums because I'm done, man. I am literally, after this, one of the things I was going to do is make sure that my arrow is pointed exactly in the right direction before I release. And I've got my shit filled out, so I'm super ready to do this. And like I said, but yeah, we can get back to teaching.
Yeah, if you don't have any time constraint, I mean,
none.
Fuck, we can go. We'll go until I'm fucking exhausted, which is usually around 3 hours.
Do that, man, I am down. Yeah, let's do
that.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
So promise. So the other day, so I'll tell you a little backstory on this, because one of the problems with some of these things that I've dug up is that it's so simple that it's unbelievable. It can't be that simple. It couldn't possibly be that simple. So I'll tell you a little story. So to sort of help with that, because that's the biggest barrier that we're running into now. Before it was too complex. Now the problem we're running into is it's too simple. So I try to spice it up and complexify it a little bit and sort of fluff it out with stories and background information and that kind of thing. And I don't know what else to do, because it literally has gotten to a point now where it literally is extremely mind-blowingly simple, because we're getting through all the bullshit and we're starting to get down to we've read so much bullshit that now we know like what the real deal is. And the real deal, when you take all the bullshit and you mill it down and you mill it down and you mill it down and you mill it down, and then you realize that these 9 words all mean the same fucking thing. So you throw them all out, and then you realize that this all means the same shit. You throw all that shit out, and then you realize that all this over here is all just added complexity. It's all just a bunch of horseshit. You throw all that out. You get down to the core. And then it's just like, once you're all the way down here and you can explain it in a simple way, now what we're running into is people are just like, fuck, this can't be true. It's too simple. There's no fucking way. So now what we're doing is we're reverse engineering it, where we're adding a little bit of fluff and complexity through the use of stories and through funny things and through a lot of that. It's the same thing that Mansa does, in an effort to try to make it more palatable, I guess you could say, for someone, right?
Yeah, dude, that's the word I was gonna pick, because that's what it is. And you've done, dude, fucking superbly on that. Like, this shit is not boring watching your class. I mean, honestly, I just like your comments. I like the way, like, it just like out of nowhere you'll just bust out some shit which truly is funny. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that that's like your goal, but like you sure are. So it just adds to the flavor of the whole thing. And again, it just makes such a weird topic. Like, you can't, how do you explain what the hell this is to someone? It's just like, I only give it to people that I know that I don't have to say much to them. I'm like, just sign up for this class. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't say that to many people, because
that's why I love my course. Cause I just tell people, I'm like, dude, you don't need to say shit, bro. Unless it's like your grandma. And then that's, she's not going to want to watch my course. I did
have a friend who's like, bro, I love Brandon, but damn, dude, my mom wants to do all this shit. And it's just so hard to watch some of these videos with him with my mom sitting there. I'm like, well, it is what it is,
No, I just say there's a lot of kids watching this and families that watch it and they can't watch it when the kids are around and they're trying to watch it. I hear a lot of funny shit, but it is what it is. I tried I try to do what I thought would be fun and engaging, and it's not perfect for everybody, but nothing is. So fuck it. I don't
Right,
know.
exactly. And
Whatever.
truly, it weeds out some of the weak, man. Honestly, it's like if you can't
Oh
handle
yeah.
that, then you don't need to be researching this stuff anyway.
I don't even get haters, man. Literally, like it's unbelievable. I literally
That's
don't even get them.
that's
And
cool.
when I do get one every once in a while, I just type my response to anything they say is, "Bro, I literally call myself one stupid fuck. What the fuck are you gonna do to me, bro?" Like, or I invite them onto my show. Like, come on my show. Let's do it. We'll do a
Right.
live show. I'll do an email blast. I'll get 14,000 people there. Oh, yeah, I'll never, I would never waste my time on someone like you. All right, cool. Peace.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
so simple. You know, I barely ever get them anymore because they see that happening and they're like, I'm not going to be fucking, butchered in public. So,
Right. And they
uh,
remember that.
so back to this. So,
Yeah.
so, so I had a phone call with well, actually, I'll tell you the story after we go a little farther because some of this information is part of the story.
All right.
So promise. Let's read it again. Just the first sentence is all we need, and even that's too much. Means a written undertaking to pay money signed by the person undertaking to pay. It's got to be so fucking complicated.
Yeah. They got to repeat it again. Even it's just
Promise is a signed, written promise to pay. I promise to pay Jim Jones $20 on my next paycheck. Sign it. You've just created a promissory note or a promise. Okay. So when you go to the Bill of Exchange Act, we have here bill means bill of exchange. Note means promissory note. Now, if you go in your wallet and you pull out one of these green pieces of paper that for some odd reason have a tendency to allow you to purchase things, I don't know why, called Federal Reserve notes. If you look, it says right here, Federal Reserve note up top. You can see it on the front, right? And no one's ever taken the time to really think like, what the hell is this? And what the hell are all these symbols on here and all these numbers and all these pictures and all this bullshit? It's a Federal Reserve note. So that means it's a promissory note. Okay. Because note means promissory note. We've already looked at what promise means. Okay. Bill means a bill of exchange. People think like, oh, bill. That's that horrible thing that comes in my mail that I have to pay with the green pieces of paper that I had to work for. So a bill of exchange is nothing like what you think it is. Okay. Now, if you go to EMV chip, what is an EMV chip? So everybody's got the little chips on their credit cards, the chip, insert your chip here, right? So how these things work, let me see if I can find an easy definition here. Signature. Most cards in the US depend on chip and signature capabilities. And this type of transaction, a cardholder must provide a signature to complete a transaction. Okay, so basically, might not be something I can find super fast, but if you research what the chip is, it's a digital signature. That's what the chip is, right?
okay.
Let me see if I can find it. So
Oh yeah, real quick. That's another thing. When you're humming and singing, bro. Like we're musicians in brothers musicians as well. I'm a drummer, and you were talking about being able to shred the guitar, and I was like, damn, I'd love to sit down and play with you because I really can't play all instruments like you seem to be able to, but I can definitely crush on some drums. So
nice. Hell
yeah,
yeah.
it would be
There's a
fun.
few guitar songs on my my bio page that
Okay.
I made with Joe Lustica. There's actually a whole bunch of music on there that I made.
Okay. I'll check them out.
Or was part of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
Cool.
three main songs that me and Joe Lustica created. One's called the Hermaphrodite song. The other one's called Promises, which actually has to do with promissory notes. And the third one is called Accidental Millionaire, which is all about sending in really massive promissory notes and overpaying bills. And then by law, they have to send you back a whole fuckload of money. It's hilarious.
Oh, nice.
So, um, so basically, keep this short. You can look up more about EMV. So the EMV chip is basically a digital signature chip. Okay.
Okay.
And I can't find that in 10 seconds, but sometimes you still need to sign, sometimes you don't. Okay. So when you use your credit card, for example, here's a bill. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of different line items on here. Okay. You look at your statement. And if you get paperless statements, you can go into your online login and you can look up copies of your actual statement that would normally be sent to you in paper form. You can still look it up in your online login, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see it's item after item. It's this, that, this, that, this, that, and then it has the amounts for each one. It's a full breakdown of every single charge. People never think of the words. Charge your credit card, right? So so again, let's go back to definition of promise. Written undertaking to pay money signed by the person undertaking to pay. So what are you doing every time you use your credit card?
You are making a promise.
And what else are you doing?
I guess that the that the company's going to pay.
You're signing it
Well, right. It's signed by the chip, sure.
either by the
By
chip
making a promise, you're signing,
or
right?
by the, you know, either the tablet has the little finger signature,
Yeah.
or if you go to a restaurant, it'll have the paper signature and it'll say, I don't have any receipts here. I usually have a whole bunch everywhere. But if you look on the receipts, it'll say, you know, I promise to pay this amount as per the card member agreement, or it'll say, you know, this will be handled as per the card member agreement, or there's something on there that links that transaction to the card member agreement. And if you look inside of your card member agreement, you will find there is an entire section on every single card member agreement that's literally called promise to pay. And they literally say in the fucking card member agreement, like, you can pull up one. I could pull up one right now on any of my cards, and there's going to be a promise to pay section in the card member agreement. So what you're doing is you're manufacturing promissory notes. Okay. So we have to back up a little bit.
In the digital world, though, right? Like you're not actually making.
Well, written. What's the definition of written? You know, there's actually been actual laws and statutes passed about how electronic signatures are considered written now.
Oh, okay.
So we can look that up. So are electronic signatures considered written signatures? You can type all this shit into the internet, right?
Yeah.
The E-Sign Act granted electronic signatures the same legal status as handwritten signatures throughout the United States. So we type in, when was the E-Sign Act made into law? June 30th of 2000.
Wow.
Electronic Signatures in Global and National Commerce Act.
It's like they saw it coming or something.
They're trying to remove and smoke screen out a lot of this. The farther they can get you away from your actual signature, the farther the harder it's going to be for us to ever wake up in the future. The signature is where all the power is, right? So,
in speaking of that, are you now okay? So, does anything have to do with your human signature versus your trust signature at this point? I mean, is that?
It's all so. Let's get into that a little bit, but I want to just make sure that we have some of the background information. I don't want to just assume that people on the show have all this information.
No,
how many listeners do you normally have, and how many of them are audio versus video?
It's almost all video, and I probably get between 3 and up to 1,000. It just depends on the episode and whatnot. This will probably be a big one, so probably quite a few.
So let's just assume that people don't know literally everything. Let's assume they have some of the basic information. Okay. So this is Black's Law 4th edition. We're going to look up one of the definitions of the word corporation. Okay, corporation. It says here public and private, right? And some people have heard of this term, public and private, right? But no one, in my opinion, no one ever really takes the time to really explain what that means in a way that anyone can understand, right?
Mm.
It's actually very simple, and it's right here in Black's Law. So public and private. A public corporation is one created by the state for political purposes and to act as an agency in the administration of civil government. And we'll just stop right there because the rest of it gets a little confusing. We don't really need it. So you have a public corporation which is created by the state for political purposes and to act as an agency in the administration of civil government. Okay. So real quick, I'm just going to pound these out because it sounds like your peeps are familiar with this, but I'm just going to, like I said, assume they're not. We have 28 USC 3002 subsection 15. United States means a federal corporation. Okay. And then we're going to go to UCC 9-307. And then we're going to go down to subsection H. Where is that corporation located? Located in the United States. I'm sorry. Location of United States. The United States is located in the District of Columbia. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to my website. We're going to go down to this link right here. This is the Dun & Bradstreet listing for government of the United States, which shows that it's a business doing business as U.S. government. And it has the information here, and it has the key principal as Joseph R. Biden Jr. So the president is actually just the CEO of a private for-profit corporation. That corporation is called United States. United States is also doing business as U.S. government. That corporation, whether it's called U.S. government or whether it's called United States or whether it's called government of the United States, all of those corporate entities or DBAs are all located in the District of Columbia only and exclusively. Okay.
Would it be
Now,
fair to say, real quick, that the only time you would expect it not to be that is if it says of America after the fact? So
no,
United States of America?
no, because it's all gone. The original, everything in America is all gone. It's all gone.
Okay.
There is no state governments. There's nothing in any of the states. They've all been bankrupted, run out, replaced. It's the entire American governmental network has been all replaced by corporate entities. All of these corporate entities are located only and exclusively in the District of Columbia. So we have here U.S. List of when states were added. Now we're going to go to Wikipedia, list of U.S. states by date of admission to the Union. We're going to go down to these list of different states, right? So you see here, like, for example, California. So we go down to where California was added. California was added on September 9th, 1850. Wait a second here. This is interesting. Let's do Texas. Actually, so December 29th, 1845. Now, if you notice, some of these are called Florida Territory, Michigan Territory, Arkansas Territory, Missouri Territory. Texas is called the Republic of Texas. So what does that mean? It means it's a totally different structure, that kind of thing, right? So when you go through these various states and when they were added to the Union, right? The way that you would, I suppose, the way that you would say something like, for example, Florida, is you wouldn't say state of Florida, which is how you see it written on every single document.
Right.
You would say Florida Territory. So Florida Territory is the actual landmass of Florida. California Republic, which they must have just changed this because it literally said California Republic just a few days ago. I don't know why. Maybe I was looking at a different wiki list of all U.S. states. Let me see if I can see this other one. Oh, there we go. California Republic. Okay. So state of California is a private for-profit corporation listed on Dun & Bradstreet. The key principal is Gavin Newsom. This corporation is a subcorporation of the United States. Now, if United States is located in the District of Columbia, you bet your sweet ass state of California is located in the District of Columbia as well. Okay.
Yep.
So I don't live in state of California. I live in California Republic, which is two completely different places. This is the scam, right? Now it gets crazier. You mentioned real estate taxes. County of Los Angeles. If I owned a property, I'd be paying property taxes to County of Los Angeles. You will not believe what the DBA name of County of Los Angeles is. Go ahead and have a read right here.
Los Angeles County Tax Collector.
County of Los Angeles and Los Angeles County Tax Collector are the same corporation.
For profit. Crazy.
County of Los Angeles exists to hold superior title of your home and to collect real estate taxes from you.
Wow.
A fucking private, foreign, incorporated company owns superior title to your company. You know, I have a landscaping company, and I keep my mouth shut all the time. I don't ever say anything. But people all the time, oh, I have to pull permits for that. I'm not sure if they blah, blah, blah. And I'm standing there and I just want to fucking, ooh, I'm like, bro. Ooh.
So, I mean, in that situation, how do you handle that? Because you personally, you don't need any of that shit. So, do you just do it?
It's a allodial title. It's the allodial title. It's contract law.
Yeah.
You have, without knowing it, but voluntarily nonetheless, you have entered a contract with a private, for-profit, completely foreign incorporated corporation called County of Los Angeles, otherwise known as Los Angeles County Tax Collector. They hold superior title of your home, and you're essentially like the beneficiary. They're like the trustee, and you're like the beneficiary, right? You don't really own the property. You're sort of like a ward that sits on the property that has to go to daddy to ask for anything. Now, the way they look at it is like, you could exit anytime you want. You sign the original documentation at escrow. Like, it's a voluntary system. We live in a world where people think we're forced into shit. None of it's forced. Yeah. Not one drop of it. So it's a bit tough, because I think that the most difficult thing that people have with all of this information is realizing that you can't really blame anybody anymore except yourself. Once you really learn this information, it's empowering to such an extreme level that what it often butts up against really rapidly is self-esteem. Yeah. And the desire for revenge. If you have a desire for revenge and you have low self-esteem, you're just gonna hit this glass ceiling and you're just gonna smash into it so fucking hard, and you're not gonna have no idea what's going on, and you're gonna get confused, and you're gonna start attacking the Los Angeles County Tax Collector Office. Yep. All of it's unnecessary.
I've said, like, one of the things that I've gotten through a good bit of your course and just listening to your presentation and the way you talk about it, I talk about the 3 B's. You got to have brains, balls, and behavior. And if you do those 3 things, you should be okay. You know, you understand and learn these words and learn this stuff. You have to learn it. You don't just go out halfway. Don't go out half-assed. That's why I haven't, you know, I mean, it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut, but I know I still don't know everything yet. And you have to have some balls, because some of this shit will seem scary. I get nervous just listening to you explaining some of it sometimes in the videos, and you're like, all right, calm down. I know you're getting worried, but don't worry. They're not coming for you, you know? And
yeah, I know.
And you can't be a dick. You just, Yeah, that's got to be the biggest killer is people learning this stuff and then going out and just bowing their chest out to cops and thinking they're going to push them around. It's like that's not how this will work.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I'll cover all of that. I'll cover one of the things that I cover the most is how all that works and
yeah,
how to stay protected. It's very, very easy.
yeah.
So, so we have multi-tiered. We have United States. We have state of California. We have county of Los Angeles, and we have city of Los Angeles. All of these things are corporations, for profit, owned, and private. These things are not governmental. These are owned, commercial, profit-driven corporations. Every single one of these corporations are all located in the District of Columbia. And you say to me, oh, well, the address is 100 West 1st Street, room 774, Los Angeles, CA. Yes, because the CA is an abbreviation and the zip code is an abbreviation. CA and the zip code means someplace inside of the District of Columbia. That's why the zip and the CA was created. CA and California are two entirely different things. People think they mean the exact same thing. They do not mean the exact same thing. And you say like, oh, well, you're fucking crazy. Okay. Let's pull up a DS11 form. Let's go down to where it says permanent. Let's go down where it says mailing address line 1. Or let's say, mailing address line 1. What does it say in mailing address line 1? It says street/RFD number, comma, PO box, or URB. No one's ever read any of this. No one's ever asked, what the fuck does RFD mean? What the fuck is URB mean? Okay. Address line 2. You can also put in care of. Right? It says here if applicant is a child. Well, okay. Thanks. Appreciate it. So RFD stands for rule-free delivery. So what in the flying fuck? What in the flying fuck is rule-free delivery? Okay. So you start to look around. What does it mean? It was a program in the United States Postal Office that began in the late 19th century to deliver mail to rural destinations. Previously, individuals living in remote homesteads had to pick up mail themselves at sometimes distant post offices or pay private carriers for delivery. RFD became a political football of politicians promising it to voters and benefiting themselves to reach voters, blah, 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 blah. So if you start to research this, RFD, okay, and then what's the other thing? URB. I don't even know what that is. On the passport application form, comma, what does URB mean? Question mark. See if we find it. URB. What does it mean? And I'll tell you right now, if I can't find it, you fucking bet your ass I'm going to call these motherfuckers. I'm going to call the passport office. Yep. I have a question for you. DS11 form. On mailing address, URB. I'm very curious. What does that mean? I have no idea. I'll put you on hold for an hour. They'll find it. And they will tell you.
They will, yeah.
I have no idea what URB means, and I can't find it rapidly. So I have absolutely no idea what that means. Okay. But I'll tell you right now, rule-free delivery means outside of the District of Columbia and all corporate elements. That's what RFD means. So what do you put on the fucking DS11? And you're going to learn on video number 11, which either you're on or you're about to be on. You put rule free delivery. That's what you put, right? Now it's going to ask you a permanent address or a residence address. I think it's over here. Let me see. Where is it? Oh, here we are. My God. Permanent address. Now, think about this. They already asked you for a mailing address. So why in the fuck are they asking you for an address twice? Complete if P.O. Box is listed under mailing address or if residence is different from mailing address. Do not list a P.O. Box. Okay. In the first one, I could list a P.O. Box. Mm-hmm. In the second one, I can't. Why is that? Because permanent address means where do you physically live. Mailing addresses means where do you receive mail. Again, it's the definitions of the words. It's all spelling. Mailing address and permanent address is not the same fucking thing. If it was the same fucking thing, they wouldn't ask you twice. And they wouldn't use different words. That's dumb. Okay? So you put in permanent address street / RFD or URB. So you can't do a P.O. box, but you can do rule free delivery. Mm-hmm. Permanent address, rule free delivery, which means I don't live in your corporate bullshit. I don't live in the fucking state of California. I don't live in county of Los Angeles. I don't live in city of Los Angeles. And I don't live in United States or any of your other tax collector county bullshit. Okay. Yep. Then in mailing address, where do you receive your mail? You can put a P.O. box or something like that. Now, what does that do? That means I don't live inside your bullshit. I'm totally outside of all your bullshit, and I receive mail here at this P.O. box. Now, you don't live in the United States legally, and they will approve these forms. Always approve these forms when you fill them out this way. Because the thing is that that's what rule-free delivery actually means. It's just hidden. It's secret. Okay? So you realize very rapidly that everything that we're inside of, okay, and this goes back to the definition of a public corporation. So we're going to go back to that now. Public and private. Public corporation is one created by the state for political purposes and to act as an agency, which means like a middle ground or a relay station, or I like to say the word portal. I'm the only one who uses that kind of terminology because I try to use terminology that gives people an illustrative understanding as rapidly as possible without using a lot of horse shit. Okay. Yeah. I try to get away from the horse shit. Okay. I play a lot of video games. So I think of it in video game terms a lot too. Agency as a portal. So there's you, then there's the portal, and then there's the incorporated world, the incorporated universe. Okay. Now, you pull up your certificate of live birth. Oh, yeah. On the certificate of live birth, there's a section, on mine at least, mine's from Indiana, that says date received by local health officer. Okay. If you have yours there, don't put it in front of the camera, but sure. Does it say anything like received by local health officer or date received by Department of Health and Human Services or any dates that's not your birthday?
Date signed, which was on my birthday.
Any other dates anywhere?
I don't think so. No. And honestly, like I got this one from my actual hospital in Marion, Illinois in 2020. And I ordered it because I was going to try to get a passport. I had no idea that this was coming. I ordered 2 of them. And then when you said to order our passports again and you went over this, I looked at this and it didn't have some of the things on this one that would have made me believe it's a long form, even though it's this big, right? So it's legal size. It's got everything else. So I ordered through what's the company that you said to
Final
use?
check.
Yeah, yeah, and I got one from them that has none of the. It's like it's got the red numbers at the bottom, which is what I was hoping for, and then nothing else is the same. It's got no signatures. It's got no. It's got the one number in the upper right corner, but it doesn't have the one in the upper left. So I've got basically two different birth certificates that both claim to be long form, and I'm so that was going to be a question like, what the hell? Which one do I send in, or you know what I mean?
I'll look at that with you off camera because I'll need to
Okay.
actually physically see the documents. But anyways, this is a okay. So I've just happened to find one that has the word Obama on it. So whatever. I'm not trying to make this into some fucking
Sure.
political horseshit. I don't care.
Right.
So first and foremost, this document has what I'm looking for. Second, I don't give a fuck. People can comment, oh, you found Barack Obama's blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. It's all horseshit. It's all noise. It's all
Mm-hmm.
made to fucking distract us. I don't care about Obama. Fuck it all. Fuck politics. Okay.
Right.
First and foremost. Now, that said, take a look here. We've got date accepted by local reg, which means registrar or something like that. And then here we have date accepted by reg general, registrar general, something like that. Now, the date of signature for the parent or other information. So it looks like the mother signed on 8/7/61. The father signed 8/8/61. And then the signature of local registrar on mine, it's like a local health officer. It's the same fucking thing, right?
Yeah.
That one is August 8th. So it's the same day. Wow. Okay. That's not great. So on mine, it was like 2 weeks later.
Okay.
So it depends on your state, it depends on how they're operate with this, that, right? Now, this date accepted by Reg General is the date that the public corporation, which was created by the state for political purposes and to act as an agency in the administration of civil government, was created.
To act as a portal.
This to act as a portal. This corporation is your name in all capital letters. And a lot of people say, oh, the all caps name, and they talk shit and they say it's the devil and they say all these different things. Now, I think of it differently. I think of it very differently. Why would the fucking government, they're creating a corporation for political purposes and to act as an agency in the administration of civil government. So everybody thinks the all caps name is the fucking absolute fucking devil. Okay. Now, you got to dig a little deeper. Why are they creating this corporation? What does political purposes mean? What is an agency? Why is an agency beneficial for them? Why is an agency beneficial for us? Why are they doing that? What does administration of civil government mean, right? So you start to dig into this more and you realize that in the incorporated world, they only care about commerce or commercial activity. The definition of commerce is the exchanging of money in some sort of business or professional atmosphere. So, for example, we're going to get off the subject a little bit, but this is a good way to. I want to give a really good example of this in a way where you can understand it in a way that's really, illustrates the situation, right? 18 USC 31. So we're going to pull up 18 USC 31. Now everybody thinks like, okay, I go to the Department of Motor Vehicles to get my driver's license and to get my my registration tags. Okay. Now, this is going to blow your fucking mind. Department of motor vehicles, DMV. What is the definition of the term motor vehicle? The term motor vehicle from 18 U.S.C. 31 means every description of carriage or other contrivance propelled or drawn by mechanical power and used for commercial purposes on the highways in the transportation of passengers, passengers and property or cargo. Now, they go even farther than this. They go even farther. And you go down to subsection 10, and they define what use for commercial purposes means. The term use for commercial purposes means the carriage of persons or property for any fare, fee, rate, charge, or other consideration, or directly or indirectly in connection with any business or other undertaking intended for profit. Why in the flying fuck would you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles for anything unless you're an Uber driver or a big rig driver, which even that you can get around? But Uber is one of the only things I can think of that you really can't get around if you're an Uber driver. The only people on the planet that should be going to the Department of Motor Vehicles for absolutely anything is taxi drivers, limo drivers, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers. That's it. Because I'll tell you right now, if you have a big rig company and you want to learn how to get out of the commercial world, call me. I'll set you up. It's not that hard. That's a whole nother subject, which we can get into a little bit, I guess. So they operate in this commercial world. Okay. So when they say the agency to the administration of civil government, the definition of the term civil government is commercial world. They only care about commercial. They only think about commercial. They only operate as commercial. Everything is commercial. To the point where if you go to commercial crimes, commercial crimes, 27 CFR 72.11. What exactly is the definition of a commercial crime, you ask me? Very interesting question. Indeed. Commercial crimes. Any of the following types of crimes, federal or state: offenses against revenue laws, burglary, counterfeiting, forgery, kidnapping, larceny, robbery, illegal sale of possession of deadly weapons, prostitution, including soliciting, procuring, pandering, white slaving, I don't know what that means, keeping house of ill fame and like offenses, extortion, swindling in confidence games, attempting to commit, conspiring to commit, or compounding any of the foregoing crimes, addiction to narcotic drugs, and use of marijuana will be treated as if such were commercial crime. None of those things. Well, actually, hold on. Most of those things have nothing to do with commerce, or some of those things. Some of those things have nothing to do with commerce. Okay. Now you say, all right, burglary. You're attempting to steal something of value for nothing in exchange. That's why they think of that as a commercial activity. Counterfeiting, okay, they think of that as, whatever, kidnapping. The only way they can make kidnapping a commercial crime is by thinking of a human being as basically property.
Yeah. And worth money, which they're going to extort for the whole
and
thing,
worth money.
And they even, I think they say extortion down there later anyway. So it's like,
well, that's where life insurance comes into all this. Life insurance places you as a piece of property it has a commercial value. They give you a fucking commercial value, bro. They give your life a commercial fucking value, bro. Like,
Yeah.
this
Wow.
is not, this is, people use the term wake up. We gotta wake up. We gotta wake up, everybody. Like, I don't like that term, bro, because it turns people off. Anyone hearing that, they're like, fuck you, you fucking piece of shit. Like, you're fucking, fuck you, dude. I'm not gonna, because you infer that they're asleep.
Yeah.
Dude, no one's asleep. No one's asleep. How can a human being in today's world even think lucidly? Every fucking direction that we turn, we are met with betrayal. We are met with destruction. We are met with confusion. We are met with convolution. We are met with it's awful.
Inducement.
It's inducement. You get to the age of 25 and you've already given up. You've already given up, because everywhere you look and everywhere you attempt to look and everywhere you go wants to fuck you. And the places that don't want to fuck you, you think that they're not trying to fuck you. And then 5 years later, 10 years later, you realize they were fucking you all along and they're just really good at pretending not to fuck you.
Yep.
And then you get angry and then you want revenge. And then now you start fucking other people because you've been fucked your whole life. And this is what Buddha was talking about. This is the definition of nirvana. Nirvana is coming up and out of that ping pong. This fucked ping pong that we've all been doing for our entire existence. It's true enlightenment is coming up and out of that. And that's, again, why I give away everything I do for free, is to show people that there is hope. There is somebody out there that isn't just trying to fucking rail them.
Yep.
Because all it takes is one person. If one person isn't trying to fucking rail me, maybe there's other people out there. It's like rekindling a lot of fucking little, it's not like some big fireplace with a fire. It's like one teeny little fucking candle, but that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
Yep. Yeah, and I, like I said, dude, you've inspired me, so I'm sharing it now, and I will one day be able to teach this shit. You know what I mean, appropriately. So I'm on my way. I'm on my way.
So what they're doing is they're attempting to make every single thing and every single person and every single action in your entire existence a commercial activity done by a commercial body, and that commercial body is your name in all capital letters, which is a business that was created by the state for the administration of civil government. Okay. Now, do corporations give me limited liability? Now, this one's California because I'm located in California. It's picking up my location. Corporations give you limited liability.
Okay.
So, agent principal relationship. I'm going to see if I can find this rapidly. There's one particular graphic that I really like. If I can't find it super fast, we're going to skip it. Oh, was that it? Oh, no. Let's see. So the agent principal relationship. Okay. This is I can't find it rapidly. So basically what happens is that
it's like wearing a suit, right? You're wearing a suit of yourself over yourself.
You are a business owner, and your business was created by the state to give you limited liability. This is how I think of it, because I don't want to think of it negatively. I don't want to think of it negatively. I don't think for 150 years this whole thing has been this negative horseshit, kill everybody fucking thing. I don't think that. There has to be some positive reason why this whole thing was created. And I think that the reason why it was created was to give us limited liability in commerce. So we are lawyers. Okay. And then if you go to 26, you go to anywhere really, but 26 USC 7701, you look at the definition of the word person. The term person shall be construed to mean and include an individual, a trust, estate, partnership, association, company, or corporation. So this is all your tax forms, by the way. You can look at any tax form, you'll find this definition. This is not, there's a fuck definition, totally fucks up everything, fucked up the whole world. It's destroyed the whole world. But it's definitely not that secret. So the all caps public corporation that was created by the state as an agency for the administration of civil government is a person. You are a completely different person. The problem is you're operating as though you and the public corporation is the same entity. Corporations do not have human rights.
Yeah.
The entire scam is tricking you into saying that you are the corporation.
Right.
You are a lawyer on behalf of a public corporation. You are essentially a business owner and a lawyer. The corporation was created to give you limited liability in commerce, to make you invincible in commercial activity, untouchable, unsuable, unimprisonable.
Okay.
It was done as something good, as something positive initially. That's what I think. Do I have proof to prove all that? No.
Right.
But I think at this point in time, that's what's going on. So all you have to do is operate as though you're two different persons. You are the agent on behalf of the principal. The principal is the all caps public corporation that was created by the state for the agency of civil government. It's a portal. It's a portal between the living world and the incorporated world, which is located in the District of Columbia.
And then again, not to jump ahead or whatever, or let you get there whenever you do, but like it allows you to then do some of these things that we were talking about at the beginning with money, and
yes,
it allows you to be an additional entity on top of a man, which you can learn about later, which is what we're learning about now, and go, oh, I'm a man, and then I also have this trust or a bond, really, kind of. What would you call it? Would you just say corporation? Is that the most is
the
that
trust is something totally different. I don't even really talk about that anymore. Everyone's talking about that, and I don't see anybody getting any results with that, so I just I ditched all that.
Okay.
And Mansa did too. So
like kind of like Christopher Hauser's stuff, like what a lot
yeah,
of
but the thing is that Christopher Hauser, you know, when he released all those videos, he was the only, like, we were like starving animals in the forest.
right.
There's nothing else. There's nothing else. And then all of a sudden, this fucking, you know, this crazy hick guy with slow talking language from fucking Del Mar, Tennessee, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's and the thing is that Chris Hauser was the he was the catalyst and the pilot light to everybody and everything, and he was the point when everything blew up. You know, people think that I'm the fucking source. I would say Christopher Hauser is the fucking source of that shit.
Right.
So Chris Hauser was like, oh yeah, you can do this 1099A and you can do this STKV trust and all this. You know, maybe you could 5 or 6 years ago, but once that shit blew up and everybody and their mothers were sending shit into the IRS, if it works, it ain't working anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're staying away from that. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
So with all that information, now we're going back to the Bill of Exchange Act. Okay. Again, bill means bill of exchange. Note means promissory note. Okay. So you are creating promises to pay. Now, the thing is that when you look at your bills, here's some bills, right? Look at your credit card bills. You're going to see that the name on the bill is not your name. It's your name in all capital letters. Now, there's 3 ways that they write it. They write it first name, full middle name, full last name. They write it first name, middle initial, last name. And then sometimes, like Capital One, for example, they do just first name, last name. Okay. Now, they're referring to a public corporation that was created by the state that is used in the administration of civil government. You are the agent on behalf of that principal. And when you look up financial institution and when you look up bank, some of the definitions that you find is the manufacturing of currency, the manufacturing of promissory notes. So if the public corporation is what they're writing to, and you are the agent on behalf of that principal, and you have limited liability because of the fact that principal is there and exists, your signature is what creates the promise, but the promise is actually created from the principal. So essentially the way it works is you are a banker and your all caps public corporation, which is a completely separate person in law, is the bank. Banker, bank, agent, principal, lawyer, corporation. This is the relationship.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is the relationship.
That makes sense. Okay.
The corporation cannot sign and create a promise because to create a promise requires a signature, it requires it to be written, and it requires it to be a promise to pay. Can a corporation do any of those things?
No.
No. You, as the agent, as the banker, as the lawyer, are the ones who do that via the portal into the incorporated world. And this is how this works. So, with that said, now you grab your little bills, your bills, which you've been so scared of, and you always get so upset whenever they come in their mail. But now you're going to be very excited to look at your bills. Promissory notes are promissory notes. All promissory notes have the same value in law. Federal Reserve note is a fucking promissory note. When you sign a promise to pay because you just ate a steak dinner, that's also a promissory note. So you say to yourself, well, Federal Reserve notes are accepted, but my notes are not accepted. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. UCC 3-603. If you this is a lot of technical terminology, okay, but UCC 3-603, what they're saying here is that, and we're going to get into the Federal Reserve Act too, all promissory notes in law have the same value. And if you send in a promissory note of anything, it's called a negotiable instrument. A negotiable instrument. So, definition of negotiable instrument from UCC Article 3, which is where they talk about negotiable instruments. There's 2 types of negotiable instruments. Okay. There's a draft, which is an order to pay money. This is like a check. Draft and check, this is the same word. And a note, which is a promise to pay. So a check is an order to transfer money from one location where there's already money to another location. That's it, bro. That's it. And there's probably 700 pages of shit that you can go through to learn that. It's all bullshit. A draft is a check. A check is an order. An order is to send money from one location where it's already located to another location, and that's it. So it's like, but you got to think, you deposited Federal Reserve notes into your bank account. You deposited promissory notes. They're fucking promises, bro.
Yeah.
Your bank account shows you a positive balance of the number of promises that you've deposited into the account. A check or a draft is an order to move promises from one location to another fucking location. A note is a promise by itself. It's not an order to move promises. It's a promise in itself.
Yeah.
So when you go to buy a brand new car and they place the credit application in front of you, again, it's the same fucking bullshit. It's 16 pages of bullshit. They can write one line. Too many people would ask too many questions.
Yeah.
It would say, I promise to pay at some point in the future $74,000 plus 13% interest for 20 years on this C-Class Mercedes or blah, whatever fuck. It's a promise to pay. So the application itself, or the mortgage, or the credit card, is a note. That note has the same value as a Federal Reserve note. It's a promise to pay. So when you look at your bill of exchange, you're looking at a summary. And I don't really care if people see all my shit because I don't really fucking care, bro. I don't care about anything anymore. I'm about ready to have infinite money, so fuck you. This is a securities summary sheet.
That's what I was going to say.
Of all of the securities and promises and notes and instruments, they're all the same fucking word. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit that you have created throughout the month that have gone into a positive balance account, as though you just place Federal Reserve notes into that account. Federal Reserve notes and all of your little bullshit promises that you promised to pay your steak dinners, it's the same fucking thing.
Wow, it just clicked, dude. Like I hadn't gotten that far yet, and it just clicked. Oh wow. I know there's still a lot more to go, but wow, it just made sense, dude. Wow.
It's the same thing, bro. It's the same fucking thing, bro. It's the same fucking thing, bro. It's the same fucking thing, bro. So now, you've been a good banker and you've operated through your bank, which is your, what is it? I'm going to say the whole thing again. Your public corporation that was created by the state as an agency to the administration of civil government. And I say it over and over and over and over and over again because it's a definition you should know verbatim. Now, you've been given this bill of exchange. You've created all these notes. You've been such a good banker. You've created all these notes because you've signed all of these promises to pay. I signed a promise to pay for dinner. I signed a promise to pay for motorcycle parts. I signed a promise to pay for another dinner. Signed a promise I go out a lot. So I signed a lot of promises to pay to go to dinner. I signed a promise to pay for PayPal, a couple PayPals. Oh, AT&T, my phone bill. I signed a promise to pay for that. So because of my EMV chip, I'm on auto pay on a lot of things. My EMV chip is a digital signature. Okay, so even if I'm on auto pay, I'm still signing, which is still considered written as per the e-sign act, a promise to pay. It's still creating a promissory note. So this is no different than your fidelity portfolio. These monthly statements are investment portfolios. Now, you've spent all this time and you've done all these wonderful things and you've created all these wonderful promissory notes. Now, by the way, the definition of the word currency and promissory note is pretty much the same thing, which we're not going to go off on that right now, but you can look it up. Money and promissory note is not the same thing. Currency and promissory note, or legal tender and promissory note, mean the same thing. Now, you've been a good banker and you've been creating securities and instruments and promises, which is all means the same fucking thing. It's all bullshit all month long. And they've sent you a summary. And they've sent you a balance. That balance is positive. No different than if you deposited Federal Reserve notes into the account. You've been depositing positive value securities, notes that you've manufactured legally into this account. Now, you have this account that has a new balance, a positive balance. They're saying, well, you've created all of these securities. You've created all of these instruments. You've created all of these promissory notes, all of which have value in our fucked up banker world, because everything is promissory notes. Money doesn't exist anymore because money by definition is gold and silver coins.
Yep.
What do you want us to do with all of this? What do you want us to do with your portfolio that you've created throughout the month? The answer is you're going to create a draft or order to pay out of this positive account. You're going to turn the bill of exchange into a check. When you go into this is let's see here. This is the Black's Law 4th edition. Okay, so we're going to go to the word check. Everyone thinks, oh yeah, check, a piece of paper, oh yeah, that's what a check is, that thing, I have a checkbook,
I've gotten so used to doing this, looking up stuff in Black's Law, just because that's what, again, I followed your course. I jumped right into your habits as best I could. And I got Black's Law and I got Bouvier's dictionary, and I try to go back and forth from them as much as I can, and I really just take notes from you where you go, and like the Cornell Law thing for all the different codes and stuff, and just again, I'm just really kind of telling my people right now, just take notes and look shit up, and really like that's a big thing that in all of this, because it's just you're gonna end up with lots of notes.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good. It's how you learn. It's how you learn this stuff. Because like you said earlier, it's not about your IQ. I mean, honestly, if you made it into middle school and you even, like whatever, again, if you can read and write, you can do this. It's just a matter of bulldogging it, man. Just grab a hold and just start digging in.
I mean, you got to look at it. The way I look at it is I'm doing a puzzle that has little tiny itty bitty puzzle pieces that are about the size of, a 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch. And it's a puzzle the size of Central Park.
Yeah.
In New York. And I'm just doing it and having some drinks and having some fun, and people are just joining me, and we're having a blast, and people are welcome to join and help me. And we have a multi-tiered system where it's like, I'm really good at finding puzzle pieces and finding out kind of generally where they go. And then there's a whole fuckload of people that kind of help me with those. That's it. You have 3 different stations. You have the, how do we find puzzle pieces? And then station number 2 is, now that they've been found, we put them into generalized locations, like close to where we think they might go. And then number 3 is when they actually get placed into the puzzle and they're in the proper place and they stay there. So it's a 1, 2, 3 massive operation. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So the term check, right? A check differs from an ordinary bill of exchange in that it is drawn on a bank or bankers and is payable immediately upon presentment without days of grace. It is payable immediately on presentation, and no acceptance as distinct from payment is required. It is supposed to be drawn upon a previous deposit of funds.
Mhm.
You've been manufacturing and depositing promises to pay. Federal Reserve notes are promises to pay. Same shit. Is an absolute appropriation of so much money in the hands of the bankers to the holders of the check. So now you've been working hard. You've been working so fucking hard. You've been creating all these amazing instruments, all these amazing promises. You've been such a great banker. You've been operating through your bank, which is your public corporation, which was created by the state for the purposes of the administration of civil government, or as an agency, as an agency to the administration of civil government. And you've been doing one bang up job, brother. You've been going out and buying steak dinners. You've been going out and doing PayPals. You've been going out and buying motorcycle parts, which I do a lot. And man, you've just been doing a great job of banking. You've been doing a great job of being a banker. You've been doing a great job of operating your bank. You've been doing a great job of all your signatures. You've been doing a great job making sure all your signatures are in order and making sure everything is correct. And it's just a really impressive operation you've been running through your business that you've been running. It's really impressive, right? Now, what they're saying is boy, thank you so much for creating all of this and creating this incredibly beautiful portfolio all month long. What do you want us to do with it? The definition of the word check means an order. It's an order to move manufactured or created, ready to go right now, positive balance funds from one location to another location. So you've spent all this time manufacturing notes. Now you're going to create a draft. The draft, as per UCC Article 3, is an order to pay or move money. So you've created this value with notes. Now you're going to order to move those notes. It's very simple. And we're doing a show with a guy on Sunday who just successfully pulled this off. I am feeding this to a lot of people, and I'm preparing a fuck ton of documentation. And I'm about ready to sue Amex and send in like $800,000 and shit to Capital One. And I'm going to go hard as fuck, like right out the gate, but I've been like very, very slow to pull the trigger. But there's other people who are quicker to it than I have been, and I've been working with them. Getting myself to do something is one thing, but getting other people to do it is something very else for me. Like I can do a lot of cool things. I've done a lot of cool things, but getting other people to do it is like, that's the big ticket, in my opinion. That's where the magic happens. Cause that's like where it's like, okay, it's not just me, it's not just Brandon who's been obsessing over this for years and years and years. And I could never be like him because he's all these different things. He's got money and he's so smart, or whatever the fuck people want to say about the bullshit.
Sure.
I like it when other people do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I do it, it's like, oh yeah, of course, Brandon could do it because it's Brandon. He's a fucking human pickle. He can go anywhere. He's like a superhero. I've been waiting for like other people to do this, and then we're going to create shows with them, and then I'm going to put them mainly in the spotlight. Okay. And that's kind of where we're at now. This Sunday, we're doing a show to break one down. All he did was he wrote a letter and he said, thank you very much for sending me this statement of all the positive balance of all of the securities that I have manufactured throughout the month. Please, I order you essentially, please transfer the positive value of all of these securities to the account for the principal. Because they're not writing to you, they're writing to the principal. To zero out the account and use the value of all of those positive instruments as a payment on the account. And what happened? $3,000 in debt vanished, and they kept the account open for him to use again next month.
Wow.
So you're creating notes and then you're transferring those notes through an order, a respectful order, by the way.
Right. Yep.
If you're a fucking dickhead, you're not going to
Behavior.
get,
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the behavior. Yep.
order means, and we're going to get into that. It's the most important part of all. You're manufacturing all these notes, and then you're simply ordering to have those notes transferred. And that's it. All the other bullshit and all this stuff, you're going to see all the stuff on the internet. It's all complicated. When things get too complicated, you start to get confused. You know, I've been confused and through so many different complications and through so many different things trying to learn all this. It's part of the process, but you don't stop there. You move through the complexities. It's sort of like driving across town. And then by the time you really arrive and you keep moving through the forest, you get to a simplicity. And this is the simplicity. The simplicity is you're a banker creating promissory notes through your bank. Those promissory notes are being put into a portfolio account, an investment portfolio account that has positive value. Then you're ordering, which means creating a check. Same word, order and check mean the same thing. If you look at a check, it says, hey, fuckhead bank, move this fucking money that I have on this fucking account to this motherfucker on this fucking date. That's an order. You could take a little sheet of paper, no joke. You could take a little triangular or a little rectangular piece of paper and put, hey, cocksucker Bank of America, move 235 Federal Reserve notes from account number 727-737-7277 to this cocksucker right here named McDonald's Incorporated on August 24th, 2023, after 4 p.m. You don't need a checkbook from a bank. If you just write that shit on a fucking piece of paper and give it to your bank, the bank will do it. It's an order.
Do we need to be notarized? Do we need to be
No. You sign.
sign?
You sign the order. You sign the check.
Yep.
You sign the check. You sign the order.
Yeah. They don't give you. I mean, I guess would they be able to say, well, it's not official because it's not on our letterhead? Let's say it's their letterhead being the check they gave you.
No.
Okay.
You're an investor.
Yeah.
You're an investor. If they want to fuck around and not transfer your money, call investor relations.
Right. Sure.
I've invested all this fucking money. I invested $3,285.75 in fucking Capital One last month. Where the fuck are my investments? And why in the fuck are they not being transferred to the principal? Tell me, please. I'd like to know.
Yeah, I can see that.
If you deposit Federal Reserve notes as an investor to Capital One, you're considered an investor. How is me depositing promissory notes that I've created all month long through my signature any different? A promissory note's a promissory note. And the Federal Reserve agrees. And we're going to get into that as well. There's nobody that agrees more with the fact that the Federal Reserve note is a promissory note's a promissory note. No one in the world agrees more with that statement than the Federal Reserve Bank.
I guess in this regard, that's who you want backing you up on that statement. Yeah.
Well, they're the ones behind all the horse shit, but
right. Yeah, they made all this shit up anyway. Yeah.
We're going to change all that. We're going to make the Federal Reserve the hero, because by making them the hero, why would they fight against that?
Yeah.
They're not the villain. They're the hero, because the Federal Reserve is going to buy us everything we've ever wanted in our entire lives. And the Federal Reserve is going to allow all of us to retire as trillionaires
Hmm.
right away.
Beautiful.
So back to the Bill of Exchange Act.
Mm-hmm.
Bill means bill of exchange and note means promissory note. So now we've realized that a bill is actually just a portfolio, basically. I'm using words that give people ideas. That's all. I'm not using words that word portfolio. I mean, it's just a way of making you understand faster. Okay.
Yep.
When you go to the bank and you give them a check and you slide it under the, you know what? Write a check to your buddy or write a check to yourself or do something for like $1. Go into the bank and say, I'd like to deposit this or transfer this or whatever. Slide that check across the table and then look very, very, very carefully at the stamp that the banker, the cashier is going to stamp in the back of that check. You're going to see that stamp is going to say accepted. And you can even ask, what was that you just stamped on there, pretty girl? Can I see that? I'm so curious about what you're, how this works. I'm an aspiring banker. I'm a big time investor and I'd like to know more about banking. Oh yeah. Here, accepted for deposit or whatever. What is that? What is accepted? Acceptance means an acceptance completed by delivery or notification. Acceptance means, thank you, I've received this. That's what accepted means. Now, once you've accepted it, you become the holder. Means the payee or endorsee, which we're going to get into what all that means, of a bill or note. Bill meaning portfolio, note meaning promissory note, who is in possession of it or the bearer thereof, which we're going to get into what bearer means as well. Now you've accepted it. So it's like, here's something. Do you want to accept it or not accept it? Yes, I'll accept it. Now it's mine. Okay.
Okay.
Now, once you're the holder, you are also the controller. You control the portfolio.
You sure?
Okay. Now you become the bearer. Means the person in possession of a bill or note, which is payable to bearer. So you're writing orders on the bill. Orders are checks. Check and order means the same thing. It's an order.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you for anything. I'm telling you, I have possession of a summary of a whole bunch of beautiful, glorious promissory notes, beautiful, glorious instruments, positive value, sexy, beautiful, right? I would like to make the positive value of all of these things that I now have control of payable to me, which is totally insane, but you can do that. You can write payable to bearer on it. Now, when you start writing shit on the instrument, what is that? It's called an endorsement.
Sure.
Now, people think, and they look on the back of their checks and spelled ENDORSEMENT. I don't know why they use that. I think that's more bullshit. Because as per the Bill of Exchange Act, it's spelled INDORSEMENT. Now we're going to get into infinite money. I've given you all of the background on it. Now we're about ready to explain how does one have infinite money. And this is where myself and Mansa teach a little differently, because he doesn't put the same emphasis on this part, which I think, maybe he does and I just don't really realize it. But
sure,
if you go to the word endorsement, INDORSEMENT, which is the banker terminology, you're learning to be a banker. You are a banker. You are a banker. It's like having a kid and then like, never learning how to be a mom or a dad. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You got a fucking bank.
Yeah, right. Wow.
You got a fucking bank. You got a fucking all caps name. Someone who in the fuck is creating all these instruments? Who is creating all of these positive value promissory notes? If you look at the front, it's your name in all capital letters, so it ain't you. It must be your public corporation. What's the public corporation again? Oh, that's right. It's an agency.
Yep.
It's created by the state as an agency for the administration of civil government. Okay, so you must be the banker because they're not writing to you. Not writing to you. So endorsement. Let's go and look up endorsement, because this is where you, my friend, become a god. Because once you accept the bill of exchange, and once you're the holder, whatever you say is what happens. Endorse. Endorsement, you look at all the definitions, and you look at all this stuff, and you look at all this. Look, and this is it right here. This is the big boy, infinite money, free Rolls Royces, free planes. Everything's free for the rest of your life until the system dissolves. Once you accept the bill of exchange and the positive value and the portfolio, you control it. The endorsement is whereby the property in the same is assigned and transferred to another. You create the order of exactly where and how this portfolio will now be applied, used, discharged, and transferred. You are the controller. You are the owner. It's like someone just paid you all the money from your bill.
Right. Wow.
So this bill right here, I spent on this card, I spent $3,285.75. It's like someone said, there's this account that has $3,285.75. What do you want us to do with it? I accept that. Thank you very much. I've accepted that. Thank you for the delivery. I become the holder, and now I'm the one in the driver's seat. I'm the one that controls where all this positive value goes, and I'm the one that controls exactly how it goes there. Now, when you sign the back of your check or order with a fucking bullshit squiggler, your signature, when you sign anything that involves financials, you aren't actually signing, you're endorsing.
Mm-hmm.
You're releasing those funds. Now,
okay,
they tell you all different types of endorsement. You have an accommodation endorsement, a blank endorsement, a conditional endorsement, a full endorsement, an irregular endorsement, a proper endorsement, a qualified endorsement, a regular endorsement, a restrictive endorsement, a special endorsement of writ.
wow.
Oh, there's all these different ways to release this instrument, but I'm the one in control. I'm the one who decides exactly how all these things are going to be released. No one else is going to decide this. I'm the one who decides this. So which one do I want to choose? When you sign just some fucking bullshit, what's a blank endorsement? One made by the mere writing of the endorser's name on the back of the note or bill without mention of the name of any person in whose favor the endorsement is made, but with the implied understanding that the lawful holder may fill in his own name above the endorsement if he so chooses. I've just released all the positive value of all of those promissory notes, all of that beautiful portfolio that I've worked so hard eating steak dinners to create. I've just donated all that positive value to Capital One. And then I'm going to send them green Federal Reserve notes that have nothing to do with anything. Federal Reserve notes are nothing more than little contracts that state that the corporation called United States owes the Federal Reserve money at some point in time when money is reintroduced into the society at some point in the future. I'm sending them these little green promissory note contracts in after having already gifted them all the money that I created all month long.
Wow.
It's bat shit insane.
So what happens to all that extra? I mean, we're literally double paying then, right?
You're double paying. You can go back and you can get every single dollar of Federal Reserve note money that you've ever paid, your mortgage or your credit card or anything else. You can go back and you can get all of it. If you have a $1.8 million mortgage and you've already paid $1.2 million, you can discharge the whole mortgage and get all $1.2 million of all your Federal Reserve notes all back.
Wow.
You just simply go back and claim that of which you've created.
Okay, so then how does one claim that? When, like, so if they send you a bill, not speaking of the mortgage so much, but like just a bill they send you.
Hold on.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on. This is where the magic happens. We have to go through all these endorsements. This is so
Okay.
important, right?
Gotcha.
Everyone is doing a blank endorsement. Everyone. Everyone is doing a blank endorsement. Hey, buddy, if you want to, if you know, whoever wants all these, it's like going on the street and I've got an envelope and it's got $3,285.75 on it. And I go like this: yo, who wants these promissory notes? Yo, hey man. And someone comes along and they say, I want those, and they grab them and then they walk off. That's what a blank endorsement is. Anybody who wants these, put your name on them, they're yours.
Oh. Okay.
Now, you're a banker. You're tired of being fucked over.
Mm-hmm.
You're tired of being tricked. And you're ready to find out, how exactly do I command or order these through an endorsement to where they're payable to me and no one else can take them through a blank endorsement? Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Conditional endorsement. One by which the endorser annexes some condition to his liability. That's one option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can do a conditional endorsement. Interesting. Okay. Full endorsement. One by which the endorser orders the money to be paid to some particular person by name. It differs from a blank endorsement, which consists merely in the name of the endorser being written on the back of the instrument. So, how do you do a full endorsement? The way that you do a full endorsement is you do by colon the name of you as the endorser, for colon the name of the person that the money and the positive value is supposed to go to. Full endorsement is the endorser orders the money to be paid to some particular person by name. Who are you going to order to? My name is not Brandon Williams in all capital letters. I'm a different person. I'm going to write a full endorsement on the back, and I'm going to say, by me, Williams, comma, Brandon, space Joe, the agent, for Brandon Williams / principal in all capital letters. Now what? They can't steal your instrument. That's highly, highly illegal. They can go to prison for 20 years.
Wow.
They can't steal the instrument anymore. You have ordered them that they can only transfer this value to one person, which is the same person listed on the bill of exchange.
Wow.
Now, what's an irregular endorsement? One made by a third person before delivery of the note to the payee. An endorsement in blank by a third person. I don't even know what this means, so we'll just skip that one because I don't know everything.
Right.
Proper endorsement. What's that mean? Such endorsement as the law merchant requires to authorize payment to the holder of the instrument. Fine, whatever. Qualified endorsement. One which restrains or limits or qualifies or enlarges the liability of the endorser in any manner different from what the law generally imports as its true liability. I'm not totally sure what that means either. You don't really see these kind of terms. The only ones you ever see is restrictive endorsement is pretty much the only one you're ever going to really see used in a lot of the terminology, right? So regular endorsement, an endorsement in blank by a third party under the name of the payee or after delivery of the note to him, right? This one, I'd imagine this one, regular endorsement, is when you send the shit back and you don't sign it and you don't do any endorsement at all whatsoever. What happens is they take your Federal Reserve notes that you sent in and then they also endorse with a blank instrument as a third party to cash in on all the positive value of your portfolio. Okay. I'm assuming that's what a regular endorsement is. Now, this is the one that you're going to see everywhere. Restrictive endorsement. One which stops the negotiability of the instrument, or which negotiability means exchangeability. One which stops the negotiability of the instrument, or which contains such a definite direction as to the payment as to preclude the endorsee from making any further transfer of the instrument. You're restricting the instrument through an order or command, which by definition is a check. So I'm going to stop sharing right there. I'm going to pull up card member agreements now because we're going to take a look and see what does the card member agreement have to say about restrictive endorsements. You would think that they wouldn't mention anything about any of this, but oh, they do. So let me pull back up. We're going to go back to, let me see here. Give me 1 second. This is Capital One. All right. I'm going to reshare screen.
Cool.
Capital One. Card member agreement. And honestly, if people see my personal information, bro, I don't even give a fuck, bro. Really, I don't. I don't think people want to come after my shit. And if you do, then whatever. We can share an infinite money. When you've got infinite money and I've got infinite money, you ain't gonna want to steal nothing from me because why?
Yeah, right. That's
So let's go down to this. Ain't that complicated to read this shit, by the way.
Right, sure.
You could probably spend a long afternoon and read your card member agreement. And it's gonna rip your fucking skull off. Okay, now we're gonna go down. What do we got? Promise to pay section would be very interesting to find if we can find that rapidly, because it's always here. But let's see what we can find. We're going to look in under the making a payment by mail. Items with restrictive words, conditions, or instructions. My God. You must mail all items bearing restrictive words, conditions. I'm gonna really blow this up. How do we zoom in here? Let's go Zoom in. Yeah. You must mail all items bearing restrictive words, conditions, limitations, or special instructions to Capital One. P.O. Box 13, what is that, a 50? This is a different address than the normal payment address. This includes items marked paid in full
Wow.
or similar language. Now, there's other ways you can endorse instruments. For example, if you write without recourse on an instrument, when you're endorsing an instrument, without recourse means another party cannot sue you, cannot obtain adequate relief, even if there's a lawsuit, cannot obtain any relief. It basically means if you cash this, that's it. Paid in full and without recourse mean the same thing. These are banker terms within the subsection of the release of instruments and promissory notes. The release of instruments and promissory notes has a word that describes what that action is. That word is endorsement. There's different types of endorsement. We are learning how to restrictively or conditionally endorse our portfolios.
Wow.
Now that right there we just looked at is Cap 1. Let's look at Amex. Amex is even more fucking clear, right? Let's see here. What do we got? Oh my God. Promise to pay. Woo! We got a promise to pay section, boys. You promise to pay all charges, including charges you make, even if you do not present your card or sign for the transaction. Charges that other people make, whether or not you are an additional card member, intend to let them use the account, subject to applicable law, and charges that additional card members make or permit others to make. How fascinating. How fascinating. Everything is a promissory note. Everything is a promissory note. Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. Now let's see here. I would love to send in a check or an order. How do I send in my order? Let's take a look. How do I send in my order? How do I send in? How do I send in? Let's see here. How do I send in my order? I want to order these funds to be transferred. How in the fuck do I do that? Let's see. We're going to find this thing. Oh. How to make payments. Now, you think to yourself, oh, a payment. Oh, a payment is when I send in those green things. Oh, those pieces of paper. Oh, yeah. A payment is when I send in those green pieces of paper. Either in digital form or back in the day we used to send in actual green paper in the actual mail. Oh, is that what a payment is? Let's take a look at the definition of the word payment real quick. Let's just make sure that we actually have the correct definition. Let's actually take a look and see inside of the definition of the word payment and see if it says the transferring or exchanging of Federal Reserve notes only and exclusively from one party to another, because that's what most people think payment means. Okay, fine. People think that's what payment means. Let's take a look. Does payment mean that? It's sort of like
I'm gonna guess that it probably doesn't.
All right, payment. The fuck does payment mean? Promissory notes, Federal Reserve notes.
Paymaster. Payment.
Ooh, what do we have here?
Wow, look at that.
A discharge of an obligation or debt. A discharge. In a more restricted legal sense, payment is the performance of a duty, promise, or obligation or discharge of a debt or liability by the delivery of money or other value by a debtor to a creditor, where the money or other valuable thing is tendered and accepted. Where have we seen the word accepted used before? Where? Oh, tell me, Jesus. Where have we seen the word accepted used? We saw it used in the Bill of Exchange Act. Where is it? Acceptance.
Yep. We saw it when the pretty girl stamped the back of our check.
When the pretty girl stamped the back of our check, it extinguishes the debt or obligation. Performance and payment mean the same thing. When they're sending you the bill of exchange in the mail, they're saying, we have all these positive promissory notes and securities and instruments that you've been making all month long. What do you want us to do with this? When you restrictively endorse the instrument and you command and accept the bill of exchange and you send it back to them, you are performing as the banker.
Mm-hmm.
When you perform as the banker, you've just made a payment.
Wow. For the entire amount of what would be on that portfolio, if you will, right?
Yep. Well, hey, you're the one who creates the order.
Well, right, sure.
You can
Well,
you can transfer half the money,
sure.
all the money, a quarter of the money. You can do whatever you want. You're the one in the driver's seat. You're the holder. You're the one that creates the order. Anything you say goes.
And that's done by the on the back of the bill that we just talked about.
Yep. Front or back.
By my human name, which would be me as the banker, for my all caps name, which would be the corporation.
Yep. The public corporation,
Right.
which was created by the state for the agency of the administration of civil government.
Which could also be termed to say the portal for doing commerce.
Yep. It's also called a political corporation as per Black's law.
Okay.
There's a section in the definition of corporation where it says to call this corporation a political corporation would not be wrong. So it's a political corporation.
Okay. So then, and what I was learning before was how this money was all, say, coming from our trust, right? That was just I was previously learning. And so now with this is just money that's being discharged. So it's
You're creating promissory notes all month long. You're depositing them in an account, and then you're writing an order to transfer the positive value of all those promissory notes to the principal to discharge the account.
Beautiful. I get it. Wow.
Has nothing to do with your Sesta KV trust account at all whatsoever. It's
Right.
completely totally different.
Right. No, I understood that it was different. I was just trying to figure out, like, because people are going to say, well, where does the money come from? That's the first thing people say. Where does the money come from? How are you not stealing if you're doing this?
You're the one manufacturing all the money.
Right. Yeah. I get that now.
All they're doing is just holding it for you.
And that's all they're doing anyway too, is manufacturing money.
Well, you're gifting them. You're actually gifting them. It's considered a donation every month. You're donating all of your money that you created to them.
Sure. Okay, I get it.
That's how they look at it. You're a fucking idiot. You don't know how to do any banking, and you did a blank endorsement because you're a fucking retard, and they're more than happy to accept your donation.
Wow. Yeah.
That's exactly how they look at it. Okay. Now,
wow.
Going back to oh look, we didn't cover this. How fascinating. Definition of banker. A body of persons, whether incorporated or not, who carry on the business of banking. Would the creation of promissory notes, the creation of currency by definition, be considered banking? I think so.
Yeah, it seems.
I think so. I think so.
Oh goodness.
You're bringing currency into existence. How is that not the actions of a banker? You didn't even have the definition of the word delivery here. Transfer or possession from one person to another. It's so fucking simple, bro.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, I forget where we were at with payment. What were we doing with payment? Let's see here. Without recourse, and we had this, and anyways, I don't know. But
Payment and performance.
payment and performance, it's the same thing. It means the same fucking thing. Now that you understand that you're a banker and you have a business and all this good stuff, now we're going to go to the Federal Reserve Act. How do Federal Reserve notes fit into all this, right? Section 16, Part 2. Any Federal Reserve Bank may make application to the local Federal Reserve agent for such amount of the Federal Reserve notes herein before provided as it may require. Now, what that means is that anyone can apply for Federal Reserve notes. Basically, that's what that sentence means. Such application shall. Not maybe, not if we've had coffee today, not if I'm drunk enough, not if my I have a new girlfriend, not if I woke up on the right side of the bed, not if my favorite horse Bessie won at the horse track. Shall be accompanied with a tender. Tender means an offer or like giving somebody something without condition. The word tender means like, here's $10 and there's no condition or anything associated with it. It doesn't mean you accept it. It just means I've offered it to you.
Okay.
Without any condition attached to it at all whatsoever. No stipulations, no caveats, nothing. Not, hey, I'll give you $10 if you print me an invoice. That wouldn't be a tender. Tender is, here's $10. Gotcha. Do you want it? Okay. Such application shall be accompanied with a tender to the local Federal Reserve agent of collateral and amount equal to the sum of the Federal Reserve notes thus applied for. Now, it's also very confusing. It's all spelling. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking whatever. What that means is, if you give us other promissory notes and you would like to convert those promissory notes to Federal Reserve notes, if you apply to us and request that we exchange the notes that you have in your positive value portfolio for Federal Reserve notes, we never, ever deny that request, ever. Never happened, never will happen.
Gotcha. Wow.
Your Federal Reserve notes are considered collateral. You're exchanging $65 in promissory notes for $65 in promissory notes.
Right. Yours for theirs, basically.
The collateral security thus offered shall be notes, drafts, bills of exchange, or acceptances. We've already covered what all that means. You've been a good banker. You've been such a fucking good banker, creating all of these promissory notes. Mm-hmm. You can use those promissory notes to discharge the account by transferring the positive value of those promissory notes to the principal, which, as per UCC 3-603, they can't deny you to do that. You can also restrictively endorse all that portfolio, and you can send it to the Federal Reserve or have the bank send it to the Federal Reserve, and you can exchange. You can take your fucking bill. You can take the original credit application that you signed for your mortgage, and you can take that credit application and you can do a restrictive endorsement on it. You can send it to the Federal Reserve. You would probably need a bank to help you do this, but you can send it to the Federal Reserve and you can actually exchange the full value of your mortgage credit application, your promissory note, for Federal Reserve notes.
Wow.
You can convert the cocksucking thing over by doing a restrictive endorsement.
Wow.
So, now you ask yourself, no bank and no one will ever do any of this. They're just going to strong arm me. Well, maybe they will. Let's take a look at Section 29. What's the penalties if you, as the endorser, as the banker, You're no longer a fucking retard. You're not going to do blank endorsements anymore. You're going to do restrictive endorsements. Ooh. Ooh. Let's see what happens if they don't follow your orders that you write on your endorsements. First tier, not more than $5,000 a day for violation. Second tier,
Wow.
second tier is $25,000 per day. Third tier is where things get interesting. $1 million per day.
Wow.
So there's more to this, actually. Let's go to my website where I have all this nice and cold down for you. We're going to go down to the, this is my breakdown of various crimes and penalties section, right? We're going to go down to the financial section. Very curious about what criminal penalties there might be associated with this. Huh. Interesting. Lending, credit insurance institutions, embezzling, abstracting, purloining, or willfully misapplying any monies, funds, credits, securities, or other things of value belonging to such institution, or pledged or otherwise entrusted to its care. $1 million, not more than 30 years in prison. You think to yourself, oh, Brandon, this is on your website. You're one stupid fuck. Oh, yeah, no problem. Let's go to 18 USC 657 and take a look. Here is the original text. It's a lot, it's going to take some time to read through this, but you go through, my version is just a shortened, simplified version of this.
Yeah, man, you paraphrase very well, and some of the websites you've promoted too, like Paris.
Weiss and Associates, yeah,
yeah, they do the same thing, man. They'll tell you,
yeah.
they're like, well, here's what it says, and then here's us paraphrasing it so you can understand it. You're still 10 times better than them. I mean, they have great information, but man,
Weiss is great. I love Weiss a lot.
Yeah.
Fantastic organization.
I love everything you've sent us to, man. I haven't had the time to get fully into all of it, but everything that you've recommended, I've definitely been looking at, and I like your teaching style better. But you know what I mean? Like, it's definitely all good information. So yeah.
So let's take a look at another one, 18 USC 661. We're just going to ignore all this because it's complicated. Stealing money or instruments. Now, if you do a blank endorsement, are they stealing your instruments?
Right. No.
Pop quiz. The answer is no. The answer is no. You're saying, hey, guys, if you want to write your name on this, it's yours. And they go, okay. They write their name on it. They cash it in. They exchange it for Federal Reserve notes as per the Federal Reserve Act, Section 16, Part 2. And they apply to the Federal Reserve to exchange the collateral of the notes that you've given them through a blank endorsement for Federal Reserve notes. And those applications are always approved.
Notes on top of it too.
You got it. Now you're starting to get it. Yeah. Or you already had it. But so 18 USC 661, stealing money or instruments. The value of the instruments is the fine. So I have this portfolio here right now that's worth $3,285.75. If they steal this portfolio, then the fine for this one felony would be $3,285.75, but not more than 3 years in prison if the value is up. So they get prison time as well. This is a felony. Anything above 1 year in prison is a felony. All right. 18 USC 1348. Fraudulently getting money from the transfer of an instrument or securities. Now, they can only be busted for this if your endorsement is restrictive or conditional. They can't get busted for any of this if it's blank. If it's a blank endorsement, $250,000 for each individual infraction. Now, this gets a little more crazy. In my portfolio, I have many securities. I got, I don't know how many probably, there's probably 62 securities here.
Sure.
Is that 62 different felonies? Is that 18 USC 1348 times 62? What's 250,000 times 62? 250,000 times 62. That's $15.5 million.
Yeah, 15 million.
Let's keep going. 18 USC 2314, transporting goods, money, or securities that were acquired under false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises. $200,000 per instance, up to 10 years in prison per instance. What's
Wow.
10 years in prison times 62 instruments?
Longer than
How
they're going to
much
be able
prison
to.
time? 620 years in prison.
Yeah.
And that's just for one of these.
One portfolio.
That's just these. That's just 5 sections that I just explained to you.
Yeah, wow.
If you do the restrictive endorsement, these are the things that you use to enforce. You use these and you use Section 29 of the Federal Reserve Act, $1 million a day. They are so unbelievably fucked.
Yeah, feet to the fire, to say the least, huh?
Not even. It's like flamethrower, like pressed up against your ball sack before you pull the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I meant.
This is like there's no way in hell under God's green earth you couldn't have infinite money.
Right.
It's physically impossible. Now you ask yourself, well, I've sent in letters and I've sent in orders and they've ignored everything. You have to sue. And that's something that Mansa talks about. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm about ready to sue. Mansa's already done suing. He's already done all sorts of crazy ass shit that I've never done. I feel like I can explain some of these things a little differently than he does. And I feel that my understanding of some of this stuff is possibly maybe a little more verbose than him. But this part in the presentation is where I know very little. And Mansa is very, very experienced, which is suing and forcing enforcement. Basically, the way it works is, according to Mansa, which I believe 1,000%, you're gonna take them to court and you're gonna hit them with all this shit. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna literally rip your entire institution in half and set it on fire if you don't give this to me. And then at that point, they're gonna give you infinite money.
Yep. That
And
makes sense. I mean, it's well, I mean, have you heard of anybody that they've had some way that they were able to legally get out of it? It doesn't sound like there would be.
God, no. I mean, look, you're not. By the time they get into court, there's a firing squad there. This isn't like little tiny like $3,000 fucking fines. This is like there's a firing squad. Yep. And they walk in there. They don't want people knowing about any of this information.
Sure.
They don't want it going to trial. They don't want anybody hearing about it. They want a zipped, closed mouth, sealed court case.
Sure.
So you walk in there, you hit them with everything in the kitchen sink, $80 trillion a second, everywhere, 40 trillion years in prison, and then you tell them you want a jury trial. They've already shit their pants and shit their pants again, and then shit their pants again before they even get into the courtroom to say hello.
Yeah. Wow. So they're basically looking to just, I don't know, what even.
They want to settle.
Yeah. Okay.
They want to settle a fucking right away. Let's settle right away.
Sure.
What's the settlement?
Keep my credit card open and every month.
Keep my card Keep my credit card open every month. I'm going to give you power of attorney to sign and to restrictively endorse all the instruments on my behalf, to transfer the value from me as the agent to the principal every single month automatically at the end of the month before or on the day of due.
Wow.
I don't want to do it anymore. It's
Right.
too much work for me. I'm
Sure.
retiring. I'm going to retire now as a banker. You're going to do it for me.
On a card that's black with the limit of none.
You've got it.
Yeah.
Unlimited card.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm going to go out. I'm going to buy a mansion and I'm going to buy a fucking Lamborghini. And I'm going to crash it into the wall and just give it to some homeless guy because I can go buy another one tomorrow. And at the end of the month, when the $14 million bill comes in, all you guys got to do is just restrictively endorse it on my behalf, transfer the positive value of all the securities that I've manufactured to discharge the account, and then send me the bill of exchange showing that the discharge has been completed.
Wow. So then we're still figuring out how to get him to keep the credit card going. But you said this one guy did it, and they left his card open.
Yep. Well, Mansa does that. Mansa's got cards open.
Okay. Okay. So he's so
Mansa lives on credit completely.
Cool. So this is happening. He said he's going to talk about the rent thing too, which I don't know much about, but it's a similar thing, and figuring out how the landlord has interest that he's supposed to be paying. And
well, when you sign the lease agreement, is there any financial information on that lease agreement?
Sure is.
Would that financial if you look at your lease, is there absolutely anything about that lease that may infer that you promise to pay anything at any point in the future?
Quite a bit, actually.
Did you by chance happen to sign digitally or with a pen and paper that lease by chance?
Yep.
Ooh, fascinating.
So that would be a security then.
You got it. You can restrictively endorse that as well.
Wow.
You got to think, this is what you want to do. Replace the word signature in your mind with the word endorsement forever.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Not with an E, not with a fucking E.
Right.
With an I. INDORSEMENT. Oh, can you sign this? Whoa, hold on a second. Is there any financial information on this at all whatsoever? Yes, there is. Oh, that means it's not a signature, it's an endorsement.
And that's literally you creating two spaces with two signatures. Or one would be a signature, one would be a name. Is that accurate? Is that accurate?
No, a signature, the only time you're ever really signing anything is if it's a non-financial agreement, to my knowledge.
So to restrictively endorse it, though, you would have a by and a for, right? Like,
yep. You could put without recourse. You could put accepted. You put payable to the bearer. You put by colon your name, for colon who it's going to. The without recourse is really good, really important. Or paid in full. Paid in full and without recourse mean the same thing. Because again, paid in full. What's the definition of paid? Definition of paid and payment is the same. Definition of payment is the satisfaction of an obligation.
Okay.
It doesn't mean sending stupid fucking green pieces of paper into anybody. That's not what payment means.
Sure. So it's just taking control of your banking situation and not letting them have it is exactly really what you're doing.
Exactly.
And again, it comes from knowing some shit, knowing some words, and putting them to use.
Yes, and you have some interesting things. Like, for example, what's the definition of the word check? We've already covered it. It's an order. Yeah. I could write, bro, I could tear a fucking page out of this book I have on my fucking counter here. And it's a blank sheet of parchment paper from a book. Turn it over. It's all fucked up. And write out orders. Transferring money from this location to this location, this account number, blah, blah, blah. And I could slide that cocksucking piece of paper under the fucking cash register at the bank. And the cashier is going to go, what the fuck is this? I've never seen anything like this before. And go, no problem. Just give it to a supervisor. It's a check. It's a check. It's an order. The supervisor will take it, and she might come over to you and she might talk to you, and she'll go, what is this? What is this? And he's like, look, I don't have any more You could say like, I don't have a checkbook anymore. I don't have any more checks, but this is an order. It has all the elements of an order, and it is by definition a check. Can you please process this for me? They'll process the motherfucking thing. They'll stamp accepted on it. Boom. They're accepting the order. So now there's other words. Like, for example, what is the legal, because like, for example, a lot of people send in these instruments and they go, oh, we only accept cash, check, or money order. Well, first off, it is a check by definition, check or draft, which means the same thing, or order. Check, draft, order, those mean the same thing. People are brainwashed. They think that check means a pre-printed small book that has rectangular sheets of paper. Sometimes there's a carbon underneath it that creates a copy that has predetermined locations of information that I fill out. Generally, the date's on the upper right, who it's going to is in the middle. And then for whatever reason, I'm not sure why, I have to write out whatever the number version is in words. You have to write out 3,500 in words. Mm-hmm. On the bottom left, I can put some little information like marketing bill or food, for the week or whatever. And on the bottom right, I sign, which actually means endorse, releasing that instrument. But what you don't realize is that's not really what a check is. That's just a template for a written order. Check just means order.
Yep.
As long as you have all the elements in your order from the Bill of Exchange Act, it is by definition a check or draft. So when they say, "Oh, we only accept cash, check, or money order," it's like, bitch, I gave you a fucking check. I gave you a fucking check. I gave you an order.
Yeah.
The order is a check. When you write shit on the front of the bill, transfer to blank, 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 and you give orders and you endorse it, you just converted your portfolio, your bill of exchange, into a check. But what's the definition of cash? People say, oh, cash is these green pieces of paper that are in my wallet that are Federal Reserve notes that are in paper physical form. What is the legal definition of cash? Legal tender, currency or coins that can be used to exchange goods, debt, or services. Now, you realize because of UCC 3-603 stating that pretty much all promissory notes are valued at pretty much any other promissory note, it's all legal tender. It's all cash.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, the fact that your bill of exchange comes to you in the mail like this, and it has all of your securities in paper form, technically speaking, this piece of paper is cash.
Yeah.
I could go down to the car dealership and I could take this portfolio that I have in my hand and I could restrictively endorse it. And I could hand my bill into the car dealership to purchase a car. And if they don't accept it, I can sue them on behalf of UCC 3-603 and all the information that I've described to you herein, especially if they actually take it. If they actually take it and then they call you the next day and say, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, we can't actually do this transaction, and they don't give you back your instrument. Oh, God. They just stole your fucking instrument, my friend. They just stole that's 30 years in prison.
Wow.
Do you realize, Mr. Miller, do you realize that's 30 years in prison? Do you realize what you've just done? So this is all a big joke, bro. And when people start to learn about all this shit, people are going to get really upset and they're going to want to, the more people that learn about this, the faster that this whole system is just going to come crashing down. It already is. It already is coming crashing down right now. But, I'll tell you right now, when all this comes crashing down and we go back to an OG like coin-based system where it's all gold and silver coins again,
yep,
Bro, you can work at like McDonald's and burgers for like 40 hours a week, and you're gonna have a brand new house and like 3 brand new cars and brand new bicycle and like 3, 4 kids, and like you're gonna be like chilling, bro. Like the money power and the financial power is going to be completely restored to the United States and to people. So don't worry too much about this system. Like for people who are worried about it, this system ain't going to be here much longer, in my opinion. I think this is all going to go bye-bye. The more people learn about this, uh, it's possible that we all just shift over to like a completely socialized system where the banks just pay for everything for us and we just discharge everything and we just live off our credit. I don't I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. It's possible the country may tear in half. In one half, you have people who live on their credit, and the other half, you have people who, I don't know. Who knows? It's so. I'm gonna. You bet your ass. I'm gonna have my businesses, and I'm gonna work, and I'm gonna make money that way, and I'm gonna do this at the same time. That way, if this whole thing ever does go away, I've still got my companies, my businesses, and then if this system does collapse, my companies, my businesses, all the buying power of all the money that we have is going to go up by like 80x.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense. It should. Like we shouldn't be if it's a made up system, we shouldn't be held down by it. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be the buying power should still be there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested into how in the flying fuck did all this get started, they're going to go back to the Emergency Banking Act of 1933. Emergency for those listeners who are like, how did this all get started? And where can I find the source material on this? If you really want to dig into all that, it's the Emergency Banking Act of 1933. That is where you're going to find all of the information as to how all this complete insanity got started. And then you're going to laugh and you're going to say to yourself, holy fuck, that's 90 years ago. Yeah, we've been on this system for 90 years and no one knew about it. Very few people knew about it. I mean, there's a small elite core of people who, through fear or gluttony or I don't know, who for whatever reason, or maybe, I'll bet you most people who actually operate through a lot of this can't really explain it. It's not easy to explain this stuff. It's
Sure.
taken me, I mean, I was able to do the entire course after about 6 months of focused research.
Really?
Just financials alone, just this subject alone, I'm probably like 8, 9, 10, 11 months deep nonstop.
Wow.
And I'm still not totally done with it.
Sure.
So, there's also a whole emotional side of all this part.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Self-esteem, emotions, there's a lot of, it's like, I have a lot of people who message me, I just want a house for my family. I just want to live comfortably. Like, I'm not looking to be, this. A lot of people, they start talking like that. I don't want to use this as a way of being, um, I don't need a Lamborghini and a plane and a jet. I just want like a farm with like 6 acres. People always do that shit to me, and I just laugh because it's like, all right, whatever. It's your lifestyle is going to be whatever you want it to be. I mean, it's like
Yep.
people act as though like not wanting a Lamborghini is like bad. It's like, no, it's like
Right.
whatever you want, bro. If you want to live, in the country, if you want a farm, if you want this, if you want that, like that's, whatever you want, whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, and
Yeah,
that's
dude, it's really cool. It's really fascinating learning about this stuff. And like I said, well, shit. I mean, you said you've been doing it what 8 months, 9 months, hardcore, and you're getting there. And like
I
this is
take a
just
lot of time off. It's not like it used to be the first year where it was just,
nonstop.
I mean, just like a kid at like 9 p.m. the day before Christmas, like every minute of the day, every day for like a year, bro. Like
Wow.
just,
It
just
well,
like
it shows, man.
just
You can
peaked, bro.
yeah,
Just
you can crush
fucking
through this.
revved. Yeah, like just like 14,000 RPMs on a motorcycle.
Just getting it.
Just like for a year, dude. Literally, like uh so after the first year and after getting to the financials, it's been a bit of an on and off thing for me. So I say 8, 9, 10, 11 months, but probably more like 3 or 4 of actual like focused application.
Okay, yeah. Still tons of time, tons of time. And I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, I hadn't even quite gotten there in the video series yet, and or taken Mansa's class or anything. So it's like this was all still like fire hose, which was beautiful because it's like I said, I just haven't been able to get enough of this. So, and it clicked, dude. A couple of things clicked, and I was like, oh shit, I see it now. You know what I mean? I just see that I'm in a pool now, and I got a lot more areas to investigate. But wow,
Yeah, and if you don't mind, I was actually going to do a video on all this as my next advanced course video. I'm probably going to make this my next advanced course video. If you don't mind, I might take a downloaded separate copy of this and put it on my Vimeo or something and make it video number 5 of my advanced course, because I think this is pretty much everything I actually wanted to cover on this subject.
beautiful.
Um,
I'd be happy to let you have the copy of this and do whatever you want with it.
Perfect. So I'll do that, and my people are going to be thrilled about this. They've been
Beautiful.
waiting for this for probably about 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this one's gonna go totally ape shit. It'll be fun.
Oh, right on, dude. Well, I'm
Um,
glad that
I've
glad
been
it
I've
worked out
been
this way.
I've been very slow to release this information because I haven't done it fully. I've done it partially, and I haven't seen anybody else in my movement do it yet. But all the information that I've covered in this show, none of it's like theory. It's like I've taught you everything that I know for sure, 100%, thousand billion million percent. I've shown you all the source material. There's nothing to talk about or argue about or debate up to the point of enforcement. So you say to yourself, you okay, you can teach all this, but like where's the enforcement in? Like, what if I send all this and it doesn't go anywhere? Blah 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 blah. So this is an incomplete body of technology. This is an incomplete research project. This is an incomplete presentation. So for anybody who's like, Brandon doesn't know what he's talking about because I sent all this shit in and I did everything he said, it didn't work. The last part of this, and Mons is very clear about this, is the enforcement and the suing and the putting them up against a wall and putting a very beautiful, very sharp blade to their throat,
Mhm.
looking at them right in the eyes and just smiling like the Joker. That's the last step. And that's not a step that I have mastered. And it's not a step that I'm going to talk about right now. And it's not a step that's going to be a part of this presentation. So
Cool.
I want to be clear, people are banging like zombies, fucking Resident Evil, bashing in my windows, trying to get a lot of the information that I've been studying. And I've been very careful because I like to release full bodies of information.
Yeah.
I don't like to release partial bodies of information. But it's getting to the point now where it's been so many months where it's like, fuck, Brandon, just give us something for Christ's sake, you fucking son of a bitch. I would like this to be that release.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Hell yeah. We've been
Cool.
going for damn near 3 hours, and
Yeah.
I'm I mean, dude, I could still crush. We could do the whole beginning part of your course and talk about all that stuff again, citizenship and all that. I don't know how much time you've got, but I do have a couple questions related to that. But as far as this goes and
I'm gonna
doing
do
this,
I'm getting a little bit.
worn out.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like a super ultra rapid, like super crash course version of the new way that I'm explaining the citizenship and the nationality.
Okay.
And then at that point, I'll take a few questions, and then
Wrap it up.
we'll wrap it up, because we can always do another one.
Yeah, we
We can
should,
always do
man.
another one.
And I'll be in touch. And then like as I grow and whatever, we'll do we'll revisit this, and I'll be able to share some stuff with you, and you'll be able to clearly share more with me and my audience. So hell yeah,
Well,
dude,
this
that's
is
awesome.
I got like fucking 25 or 35,000 people that are probably gonna be tearing this thing apart. So
I'm sure. I'm sure
uh
of it. Yeah.
this will be good for you as well.
Yeah, dude,
This
that's
will be really
badass.
good for your growth and that kind of thing. So all right, so we've already covered 28. I'm going to do this super fast. It's in the course. The song and dance version of this is going to be in the course. Okay. So 28 USC 3002 subsection 15, United States means a federal corporation. UCC 9-307H. Where is that corporation located? Where is all of the corporations located? They're all located in the District of Columbia. Okay. Now we're going to go to 42 USC 9102 subsection 18, which is the definition of United States citizen. Means an individual who is a citizen of the United States, which means the District of Columbia, by law, birth, or naturalization. Now, the word here that's so important that no one would ever believe is the most important word here is the word naturalization. By far, this is the key word. You can pretty much ignore everything else, and you can say a United States citizen is any human being in the world who has naturalized as a citizen of the District of Columbia. You could rename this as that, and you'd be very, very accurate. So then you ask yourself, okay, the flying fuck's naturalization, man? 8 USC 1101 subsection A23. And again, this is another one of those things where it's so simple. It's like promissory note. It's so simple that no one can believe that it's real. It can't be real. It can't be real. It's impossible. The term naturalization means the conferring of nationality of a state upon a person after birth by any means whatsoever. So now you think to yourself, all right, so conferring, is that the legal definition or is it the normal definition? No, it's the normal definition. For whatever reason, they don't use a legal definition for conferring. So what does confer mean? Confer means to bestow an honor, for example, or to invest with a characteristic, for example. Okay. So bestowing something, bestowing or giving of nationality of a state upon a person after birth by any means whatsoever. Okay. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Okay. What is nationality and what is state? Okay. So I have my own nation now, the nation of the Amnesty Coalition. We're going to go there. Mm-hmm. We're going to clear up a few words. We're going to clear up body politic, society, nation, and state. Body politic means a state or nation or public association, so it means the same shit. Society means an association or company of persons, generally unincorporated, united together by mutual consent in order to deliberate, determine, and act jointly for some common purpose, in a wider sense, the community or public, the people in general. Still kind of means the same shit. What does state mean? In its largest sense, a state is a body politic or a society of men. It all means the same shit, basically. The word body politic, the word society, the word state, and the word nation all pretty much mean the same thing. So now, what does it mean then? What's a more verbose idea of what it means? I found this in a court case, and I thought this was the most beautiful definition that I've ever seen, to the point where it totally blew open the entire subject of micronations and all sorts of things for me, okay? Mm-hmm. An independent body politic, a society of men united together for the purpose of promoting their mutual safety and advantage by the joint efforts of their combined strength. But every combination of men who govern themselves independently of all others will not be considered a nation. A body of pirates, for example, who govern themselves are not a nation. To constitute a nation, another ingredient is required. The body thus formed must respect other nations in general, and each of their members in particular. Such a society has her affairs and her interests. She deliberates and takes resolutions in common, thus becoming a moral person who possesses an understanding and will peculiar to herself and is susceptible to obligations and rights. So what it means is there's a bunch of people who come together for their own benefit, as well as the benefit of other groups and other nations, because the nation is basically an idea. It's not a location. It's not a territory. It's not a physical location. It's a culture. The word culture and the word nation mean the same thing. The word culture and the word society mean the same thing. The word culture and the word state mean the same thing. The word culture and the word body politic mean the same thing. A nation is an aggregate idea of individuals that operate as a singular whole. It's that simple. So, for example, your podcast and all the people who listen to it on a regular basis, you guys are, by definition, a nation.
Cool.
And that's actually doubly confirmed by 8FAM 505.2, which is the passport endorsement section of the passport system. If you go into the passport endorsement area and you start looking at the various advanced passport endorsements that you can get through the passport system from the Department of State, and you look at the section called Ambassador at Large, which is this is actually where I had all these realizations originally. This is where I started looking at the definition of nation and the definition of state, and I started to really dig hard because I was like, this kind of blew the whole thing open for me. Endorsement number 11, the bearer is an ambassador at large for title. It's like, what the fuck? What the hell what is an ambassador at large? Question mark. An ambassador with special duties not appointed to a particular country. It's not location based.
Beautiful.
Now, if you go back, it says here's the example. Ambassador at large for global women's issues. It's an idea. It's a culture. Global women's issues is not a location. It's not a location. When you see a diplomatic license plate and it says United Nations is not a location.
Yeah.
It's not a location. So that means anyone can have a nation. Everyone can have a nation. Anyone, everyone, any group, bunch of kids, guys on the porch, guys who have a podcast, a bunch of guys who go shoot guns on the weekends. These are micronations. And the word micro is a bit of a degrader. It's not a micronation even. I use the term, but it's really not. It's a nation. It's a nation. They're all nations. And if you wanted to go, and the Amnesty Coalition is my nation. If you wanted to fucking create your own nation, how do I join the United Nations? Not a great organization, but hey, you want to fucking join the United Nations? You create your fucking nation, and there's an agreement. There's a fucking agreement that they're going to have you sign. And you read, I mean, I haven't read the whole thing, but I've read quite a bit of it. It has nothing to do with location. It has to do with being at peace, being cool with other nations. Let's see. I can't find it at the moment. They have the whole agreement in text form on their website for anyone to read. The whole application form, the whole thing, the whole thing. Okay. So if you wanted to join now.
Yeah. Probably not, but yeah, it's good to know that.
Let's go back to A23. Okay.
A23.
The term naturalization means the conferring of nationality of a state. We now know what that means. Nationality of a state. We now know what that means. Upon a person after birth by any means whatsoever. Now you ask yourself, well, of course I've been born. I'm writing, aren't I? I wouldn't assume that. That's where the certificate of live birth comes in. But here's a secret that I found somewhat recently. Let's say you can't get a certificate of live birth, or it's just a pain in the ass and it's all fucking horseshit. DS-10 form. Birth affidavit, bro. You don't even need a fucking certificate of live birth anymore.
Wow.
You sign this fucking thing. I think it asks you for some supporting documents, and you have to notarize it. And I think they ask you for some witness statements and stuff like that. Boom. This is your fucking certificate of live birth right here. DS-10 form. You attach this cock sucking thing to the back of your DS-11 form, you've just proven that you've been born. Now, you have to prove you've been born to naturalize. You can't assume they think you're born. You have to prove it.
Okay.
That's how crazy law is.
Wow.
When they say after birth, you got to prove it. DS-10 form is a way to prove it. Certificate of live birth is a way to prove it. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let's reread it again. The term naturalization means the conferring of nationality of state upon a person after birth by any means whatsoever. So what does that mean? I confer the nationality of the state, of the nation, of the Amnesty Coalition upon myself immediately. I have attached a DS-10 birth affidavit form that proves that I have been previously born.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
You have just naturalized as a national, which is A21, 8 USC 1101 subsection A21. The term national means a person owing permanent allegiance to a state. I owe permanent allegiance to the nation of the Amnesty Coalition. You can even write that on there.
And this is
I, Brandon Joe Williams, am conferring nationality of the state of the nation of the Amnesty Coalition upon myself. I have attached a certificate of live birth or DS-10 birth affidavit form to prove that I have been born. I owe permanent allegiance to the nation of the Amnesty Coalition. And you simply notarize that document, just one paragraph.
Wow.
Attach that cocksucker to the back of your DS-11 form, send it in. You just naturalized 26 CFR 877A. You have the definition of the term expatriation. Now, when you signed your passport application and you signed your DMV driver's license application and it said, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" and you said yes, did you just naturalize? Did you just confer nationality of the District of Columbia upon yourself after birth by any means whatsoever?
Indeed.
You did. It's exactly what you did. So when you clarify and you change and you naturalize into another nation, at the same time you are expatriating any United States citizen who relinquishes his citizenship. Because look, back to 42 USC 9102 subsection 18 definition of United States citizen, any individual who is a citizen of the United States by law, birth, or naturalization. You said you're a U.S. citizen. You conferred nationality of that state upon yourself by after birth by any means whatsoever. You naturalized. That's why this entire, quote, slave system is a completely voluntary system.
Yeah.
You conferred nationality upon yourself.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a hard one for a lot of people to understand. They just want to be pissed and be like, well, it was done to me, which it was through inducement. And you talked about that. And
you have been tricked by the most brilliant black magic. You have been tricked by people who are so good at what they do that no one stands a chance.
Right.
And the day that you step back and laugh and realize how absolutely just a psychotic doesn't even begin to describe the combination of some of the most highest available brilliance on this entire planet, combined with some of the highest available psychosis available on this planet.
Yep. Wielded as a weapon against us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Every time you say you're a U.S. citizen, you're naturalizing. You're signing away your own Americanism.
so that still has to be corrected via a form 56 and a revocation of election.
Well, yeah, but I mean everything you've ever signed that says the word U.S. citizen on it, you just go back, change it up.
Is that
You can
something
write. You can take a fucking SS5 Social Security form, which is the how you change your status at the Social Security office, and you could write as per 8 USC 1101 subsection A 23. I confer nationality of the state of whatever upon myself after birth by any means whatsoever. I've attached a birth affidavit form with some witnesses. And also at the same time, I am also expatriating as per 26 CFR 877 or 26 USC 877A subsection C2, whatever the subsection is.
Right.
You know, you're expatriating and you're going through a process of naturalization at the same time. It's the same action. And that action is just the one sentence.
Wow. So that significantly reduces the amount of the what would be on the affidavit with the revocation of election.
That's right. And it simplifies everything because we're starting to get into, you know, when I submitted my passport, it was 15 pages of explanatory statements. But
no, I was like, holy shit. And then so
it's
it
all
seems like
unnecessary. I mean, we didn't know at the time. I mean, even James Lovett is digging into all sorts of cool new shit. He's finding all sorts of shit. He's privately messaged me recently, and he found some old passport applications where they literally tell you right on the fucking passport application like what a national is, and that a national has no tax liability, and it's really pretty intense. Wow. He's getting like copies of these ordered from like archives, and he's an awesome dude. He's doing great things. He's gonna come out with a bunch of cool shit here probably recently. But here's my new Nation of the Amnesty Coalition page. Brand new, just released it on the 23rd of July, and I just updated it a few days ago. And I'm really happy with the current version, but it might change. Originally, if you scroll down here, there's a link to order diplomatic license plates that I just created, and you just type your private motor carrier DOT number into here, which I'm not going to get into right now. I'm a little bit fried.
Yeah.
And then here is the explanatory statement that I wrote.
And which I love, by the way, dude. I love the shit out of this. I'm like, I would sign this. I want to sign this and be a part of that. That's how I.
Did you already read this? You already read this?
I did. Absolutely.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I'm totally in. I'm like, I'm that. You know what I mean? I am that.
I love it.
Yeah.
So originally we were trying to get diplomatic passports through this, like the actual like diplomat passports. And then I did more and more research. And then as about 3 days ago, we went back to the normal fee passports because the diplomatic passports really seem to be very work, business, and commerce centric, which you want to stay away from as much as possible in all activities of everything you're doing in your life. So it was kind of like a temporary experimental phase, and there's a whole bunch of people that submitted passports with that. And if they get diplomatic passports, then fine. I'm not even sure if you can hold a diplomatic passport and a normal fee passport at the same time. So there's a lot of things here that are so advanced and so cutting edge that we're not totally sure on, but I backtracked to basically what it is. It's sort of a hybrid. It's the original information from video number 11, but you are an ambassador at large. It is diplomatic, but it's a non-commercial diplomat. And there's literally like, it doesn't even exist. Like you actually have to literally define what that means in the document because it literally doesn't even exist in law.
Right.
Diplomatic behavior, diplomatic plates, even diplomatic plates, when you see them, they're actually commercial plates. It's all commercial. So this
Okay.
is basically the non-commercial side of diplomatic operations. And what's cool about that, people are like, oh, well, that's all bullshit. Like, how are you ever going to get approved for that? Like, no cop's ever gonna, no cop's ever gonna fucking. I've already got an answer for all you fucking cocksuckers. 18 USC 11. The term foreign government includes any government, faction, or body of insurgents within a country with which the United States is at peace, irrespective of fucking recognition by the United States. They don't have to recognize you. They don't have to. And if you're outside of commerce, they have no jurisdiction over anything you're doing at all whatsoever, to the point where if you go on to there's actually a fucking law literally where they talk about what happens to somebody who pretends as though they're a foreign diplomat and they're not. 18 USC 915. 18 USC 915. And if you look in here, even this falsely, whoever with intent to defraud the United States falsely assumes or pretends to be a diplomatic, consular, or other official of a foreign government duly accredited as such to the United States and acts as such, pretended character demands or obtains or attempts to obtain any money, paper, document, or other thing of value. There has to be a commercial element. There has to be a commercial element for it to be considered fraud. So as long as you're non-commerce, you can print up your own license plates, you can print up your own documents, you can wear a fucking shirt that says most badass fucking foreign diplomat ever, consul, ambassador at large. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do unless you're exchanging some sort of commercial thing. If you're commercialized and you're doing commercial activity, I'd be a little more careful about this. But if you're not commercial, you're not violating a goddamn thing. You're not violating fucking anything, bro.
Wow.
And
Now,
if you want to,
when you say commercial, does that mean earning money of any sort? So if you're got a small business on your farm, say you're out in the country and you're doing your thing, and you've got this diplomatic, and they come at you and say, hey, you're earning money, even though it's still within your own confines, they can still come at you with that, right?
no, you would have to first off, you have to read the whole thing with
The
intent
yes, sure, okay,
to
right,
defraud. Look
right.
at how specific. This is not vague.
Yeah,
There is nothing vague about this.
yeah,
With intent to defraud within the United States. So right there, we're already way off the deep end.
yeah.
You got to have intent to defraud. What's the definition of defraud? Defraud is to trick someone and to take advantage over them in a way that benefits you and it damages them. That's the definition of defraud. And it would have to be within the confines of a commercial activity. Within the United States. That means within the District of Columbia.
Right.
Falsely. Who's to say falsely?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Right.
Who's to say? I'm the king of the nation of the Amnesty Coalition. So you're going to say I'm falsely representing myself as a foreign diplomat? I'm not falsely fucking representing anything.
Yeah.
Falsely assumes or pretends to be a diplomatic, consular, or other official of a foreign government of which, if you're at peace, they don't even need to fucking recognize you to be considered a fucking foreign government. You don't need any paperwork. You don't need fucking anything. And you're a foreign government. Beautiful. Duly accredited as such to the United States. They say duly accredited. That doesn't even exist. I mean, the only way duly accredited would exist is that let's say the United Nations, something like that. You know, I definitely would not recommend that somebody say that they're a part of the United Nations if they're not. that would follow under 18 USC 915. If you print up diplomatic plates and a fucking fake passport and it says United Nations on it, wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
That would be a duly accredited agency, right? But you don't need to be a duly accredited agency as long as you're a peace, right? As per 18 USC 11 definition of foreign government, right? So you can't get in trouble with any of this. I mean, I guess you could if they really wanted to and you accepted them coming after you for it. And I don't know. I mean, but The thing is that what my explanatory statement is it says here, I'm the agent for the principal right here. I'm fucking restrictively endorsing this entire goddamn. I mean, even I'm acting as though even this is a restrictively endorsed instrument by Brandon Joe Williams, agent for Brandon Joe Williams principal. This is a full endorsement. There's no financials involved in this document, but if there was, this would be a full endorsement article or a restrictively endorsed article.
Right, restricted is what I was going to say. It's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if my passport's printed with my legal name, I realize that name signifies a political corporation that was created as an agency for the operation of civil government, right? The corporation is generally identified as one of the three variations, right? This is the one that you see on everything like my passport and my driver's license. This is the one that I see on my Amex cards. This is the one that I see on my Capital One cards. Okay. I want to thank you for allowing me to have a corporation of which I can use in commerce that gives me limited liability. I will be signing as the agent on behalf of the principal, and I will not be attaching my durable power of attorney to the statement. But if you'd like a copy, then just write to me and I'll give it to you. I got them. And then in accordance with, what we've been talking about, how the United States is defined, and I, as the agent, do not reside or domicile. Originally, I put the agent and the principal do not domicile. But the thing is that the principal, the all caps name always resides in the District of Columbia. They created the damn thing. Yeah. So it's always going to be there, right?
Sure.
So I took that out. One of my people had mentioned that to me. They're like, "Oh, wow, you're saying the principal is located outside the United States?" And I thought about it, and I was like, "Oh no, that's not true, actually." So I went through and I rewrote it again. Okay. And I put I, as the agent, do not reside or domicile in the United States, and I don't say anything about the principal. I just leave it alone. I don't say anything about it at all. I'm not a citizen of the United States, nor a U.S. citizen, nor a U.S. person. I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen, and I invoke the power of the 9th Amendment to make clear that absolutely anything I'm doing, have done, or ever will do that does not harm or swindle others will be an absolute right that I confer upon myself. The 9th Amendment is crazy, bro. The 9th Amendment is like one sentence. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. That just means whatever's not in the Constitution, if you want to make it your right, you simply just confer that right upon yourself, and now it's your right.
That's awesome.
I confer through the 9th Amendment my own right to carry fully automatic 50 caliber machine guns on my person, on my body, as I walk through the streets of Los Angeles. You're going to get shot and killed in the street. But the thing is that if somehow you didn't and it ended up into a courtroom, it'd be legal. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing there. All right. I am conferring nationality of a state upon myself through the process of naturalization as per 8 USC 1101 subsection A23 in order to have the status of national as per 8 USC 1101 A21. We've already covered that. I will attach either a certificate of live birth or a DS-10 birth affidavit to prove that I have, in fact, been born. I am not a U.S. national. You look at 8 USC 1101 subsection A22, which is right in the middle of the two that we had. There's this other one called National of the United States, which is a little bit weird because it can mean a citizen of the United States. This is some smokescreen shit. Mm-hmm. You want to stay away from this. So we're not that one. We clarify the fact that we're not the smokescreen one. Right. We're A21. We're foreign. We're a foreign one.
I am not that one. That's the weird one. I am only and exclusively
a foreign national as per that one. Right. I nor my nation waive any jurisdictional immunity granted to myself or my foreign state, such as that mentioned in 28. So 28 USC 1605 subsection A1 states that foreign areas that have jurisdictional immunity, the foreign state can waive its immunity either explicitly or by implication. The by implication part is the part that kind of scares me. So what we're doing is we're basically saying that there will be no implied jurisdictional waiving of anything. And no ambassador of the Amnesty Coalition has the ability to waive or approve anything that would affect the Amnesty Coalition as a whole. That can only be done by Brandon Williams himself, the king of the nation of the Amnesty Coalition. I am a non-citizen foreign national and ambassador at large for the nation of the Amnesty Coalition. I am conferring these statuses and nationalities upon myself as the agent without any request for permission or approval. As I study the diplomatic aspects of the passport system, it appears to have a strong connotation of commercial activity. Because my diplomatic activities are entirely non-commercial in nature, I will be requesting simply a state citizen or foreign national passport rather than a special issue passport. This is what I was talking about before. I will also be using plates for my vehicle that will look very similar to the diplomatic plates used by the Department of State. Because the plates that you offer are for commercial, quote, motor vehicles, I have no choice but to create custom plates off the internet while using my private motor carrier DOT number. In accordance with the covenant below, you will see that my life is now a non-commercial diplomatic endeavor. And if there is any issue with this, please have someone at the Department of State write to me so we can hash this out before approving my passport. They're not going to write to you at all. They're going to approve the passport. That's just there for a face saver.
Yep.
I'm excited to say that I will be at peace and foster peace between the nation of the Amnesty Coalition and the United States at all times, as per the definition of foreign government. I wish to retain my foreign government status at all times, and I find this to be of utmost importance. Our definition and explanation of what is meant by, quote, be at peace will be described in Section 2 of this statement. Section 2 is now all the information that will be of interest to the Department of State and Department of the Interior as regards to this nation. Thank you very much for your assistance. The Department of the Interior deals with foreign nations and tribes, Indian tribes, stuff like that.
Okay.
Within the territorial boundaries of the 50 states.
Okay.
And then here's the definition section that we just covered some of that. And then here's the covenant of the ambassador of the Amnesty Coalition and the what does it mean? What are we doing? What do we stand for? Why do we do it? And then at the bottom,
yeah, I love all that, dude. Like, I'm like, wow, dude, I'm happy to put myself into that and say I am that. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love it.
It is. It's very cool.
And then here's the avouchment section. And then you just notarize this. You get this notarized, which I need to put that on here. I haven't, for people who are just not totally tracking. I don't think people realize they have to actually notarize this.
Yes, for sure.
So, and that's it.
Real quick then, on the 56, form 56, like, and I've got the part in your video pulled up where you in part 2 where it says revocation or termination of notice, and it was like, check this box if you are revoking or terminating blah blah blah, and then A, B, C, C, we picked other, and then you put revocation of election to be treated as a resident alien as per 26 CFR 1.871-1.
I have a lot of people who message this to me. So I will
begrudgingly go over it one more time.
Yeah, it's so 26 CFR 1.871-1. This is where that came from. Because even in the videos, this is the one that I reference, right?
Yep.
Now it says here, however, non-resident alien individuals may elect under this section to be treated as residents for purposes of determining their income tax liability. So you are a non-resident alien individual as a foreign national. You don't live in the District of Columbia. You're electing to be treated as U.S. residents. So you were a non-citizen. You were a non-resident alien. And then the way they looked at it is you elected to be treated as though you are a resident alien for tax liability purposes. You're revoking the election to be treated as a resident alien.
Oh, wow. Got it.
But I've had a lot of people message me that question.
Yep, I got it now. That makes sense. Man, it didn't make sense before. I'm like, how did I miss this? And I'm watching the video. I'm like, I didn't miss something. I just don't get it. And now I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
So the election is the aberration. The election is the bullshit thing that happened. You're revoking that election.
Got it.
Which is the horse shit.
Right. And we're explaining the horse shit appropriately. And now it makes sense. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that was one where I was like, man, I don't understand. Maybe I'm stupid. And then, yeah, man, the only other thing, so it did on my birth certificate, I did have that date on the one that's, kind of like, doesn't have the signatures or any of the other shit, but it does have that date filed by registrar on it. And
there you go.
Whereas the other one,
What's the
looks like
date? How many days after your birthday is that date signed by registrar?
7.
So you as a person have a birthday, and then the public corporation that was created by the state as an agency for the administration of civil government as a person has a birthday that's 7 days after yours.
Gotcha.
So when you're filling out a document on behalf of you, you would use your birthday. If you're filling out a document on behalf of the principal as the agent, you would fill out the principal's birthday.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So, I mean, do I need to? I mean, man, I know it's getting long and we've been going forever, and I've just still got a couple questions, but it doesn't really matter, man. This
No,
has
let's
been
do it.
so.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So what's the whole idea with getting the authenticating a birth certificate? Do I even need to do that? Worry about that?
You know, I don't know a whole lot about this. I've done an apostille on 3 of my certificates of live birth. I don't totally know. You'll have to go someplace else for that. One of my mentors told me that if you trademark your name in all capital letters, it does even more for you than authenticating your birth certificate. So that's what I did. But I also went and apostilled my birth certificate because I have a notary friend of mine who's a personal friend of mine, and I was like, hey, can you take these down and get them apostilled for me? And she's like, sure. And like, she did it for me. So I was like, fuck it. Like, if it's that easy, I just do shit. Like if it's easy and it falls on my plate, I'm just going to do it. That's how I roll. Right. If it's tough and it's like a bunch of bullshit, like getting an loyal title, unless I'm like in it and need it for like something I'm trying to do, like it's not something I'm going to necessarily gravitate towards, like a marriage license, destroying a marriage license, which I just got some new information on that. I had somebody who wrote a cool document that I'm going to share. I have to actually write that down. Share. Because that's something that I've never really had anything to say beyond what's in the course, which isn't a whole lot, because I just never really done it. Right.
Yeah.
Share.
I just finished your marriage video actually right before we came up here, right before I came up here. And then I guess my only other question is, which one of these would I send them then when I'm sending in my passport application? Because they're vastly different, man. They really do look very different, but they're both.
Oh God, bro! I would send everything.
Oh, both of them. A copy of
just here's everything. I'll give you a fucking stack of papers from here to the ceiling, bro.
Beautiful. That's what
whatever.
I was gonna say, man. I was like, I hope he tells me to send them both, because that's
and you know what? And you know
my
what?
gut feeling says send them both. Yeah.
You know what? You can put it. You know, my document. If you want to use mine, you can change the fucking thing, change the words, do whatever the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. But if you want to use mine, just change the wording a little bit and say, I wasn't sure which of these 2 birth certificates best prove my birth, comma. So I have enclosed them both.
Beautiful. Okay. And
Super
that's really
simple.
what this is. This is an amount of understanding that we're going to have to write documents, especially when you get into suing and doing all that stuff. There's no templates. There's like, we're overstanding all of this stuff as we go through it, and it's to put this under our belt so that when we are thrown a curveball or asked a question, we can bust it out. And I mean, dude, Brandon's not going to be there to answer every question for us. Is that right?
Well, we have to. The only way this is going to work is we have to all individually really stand on our own 2 feet. And we need help to stand on our own 2 feet, but we just need to stand on our own 2 feet as quickly and as rapidly as possible, because you're starting to see a lot of people teaching this stuff now.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh, that's a bad thing. And now it's confusing and it's that. Oh, fuck all that, bro. This is great. We should have everybody teaching this shit. It's like marketing and sales. Everybody teaches marketing and sales. I've even got a whole book on fucking marketing and sales.
Yeah.
I wrote. Everyone. I mean, we just want everyone talking about this, everyone looking at these codes, everyone looking at these forms, tearing them apart, filling them out in different ways, sharing their experiences. People text me all the time, oh, this and that, or they put comments on my shit. Oh, this and that. You have to do this, you have to do that. You ain't got to do shit. There's 9 million ways of doing all of this. And that's the part that's so cool. The part that you realize that there's 80 trillion ways of doing all that. You start off and you're like, how do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And then you learn, and then you realize, God damn, there's like 9 million fucking ways of doing this. It's like then everything just becomes a big joke, bro.
Yeah. It's like you learn how to do gymnastics and then you get to go play on all the gymnastics shit and you're like, well, I could do it like this and get a different result. And sure enough.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Oh, thank you so much for teaching, bro. Thank you so much for teaching because I probably would have never had the desire like to get into this like this without that kind of teaching, the way you do it. And I was just like, damn, whatever is this dude is saying. Holy shit, I'm interested in the law for some reason. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
That's how it should be.
Yeah, it is. It truly is, man. So shit, dude. Well, I gotta say thank you so much for this, your time, man. We crushed out a solid, good podcast here, dude. I'm so so excited about this. This is fantastic. So
This is going to be a big one for my peeps. They're going to go like shark feeding frenzy level on this shit. So
beautiful.
it'll be
Well,
good.
what great information, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad you dropped it on this one. Nothing new under the sun, man. That's what we're doing here. This has all been done before. Just not by us.
I love it. And as soon as you give me a copy of this file, I'll send it out and get you hopefully boom your platform pretty good.
Yeah, so here's what I was thinking. Like, I'm gonna post it, and then I'll send you a link to my post, and you can extract it from that if you want, or I can file mail you the link when unedited by me. I won't put my intro and my outro on it, and you can do whatever you want that way. However
Perfect.
you
I
however you
love it.
want to do it. Okay, cool. I'll send you both. I'll give you the link after I've put my music and my shit on there, and then I'll give you the raw, and you can do whatever you want with it.
I love it, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you, man. I'll be in touch, dude. We'll do this
Yeah,
again at some
the
point.
only other area that we haven't really covered in great detail is cars and stuff like that, but
Yep.
we can
You
do
know, it's
that at a
funny too,
later
because
time too.
that's what I thought. I was like, when I talked to him, I was like, let's try to set up another one so I can get into the car shit. And it's just because of a previous podcast I watched you do, and you
Yeah.
didn't get to the car stuff in that one. I was like, that's probably what'll happen. It ended up
Yeah.
working out. So,
Yeah.
uh, super stoked, brother. Thank you so much, man. Have yourself a great evening, and keep teaching, man. It's fucking beautiful.
You too, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.